Cool. Okay.
Can you hear us now?
We are not on.
No, I should be starting. Could you also click the record button?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Now can you hear us now?
There you go.
All right.
Hang on, I still gotta do the social media. Are we on?
Can you give me the?
Are we on
It's
surround?
very mechanical sounding, and it sounds like
Yeah, it's on omnidirectional.
Okay.
a little reverb.
Oh, okay. I think that was from my computer when it was on.
Yeah. Could you turn that light on real quick, Melinda, behind you?
Like you're all Decepticons.
Yeah.
We are.
Wait, this one?
I think I might get that
Xavier said
one. One is the fan, the
Autobot
other is the light. Yeah. I'm gonna turn off the fan.
The chat is staying. It's just super tiny.
Like you're all
Okay.
Is it better now, or?
Oh, never mind. It's not staying.
Well, I think when you watch a playback of a YouTube live stream,
You can read
the
the
chat goes.
Yeah.
So I don't think we necessarily need this for the video.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're all Decepticons.
I think
except
I never actually
Xavier.
watched it.
Xavier's. There's currently a chili cooking in the kitchen, which Xavier's watching.
Yes.
But yes, welcome back to Season 2 of the Hentai Literature Club. We're here, we look at hentai through the lens of literary criticism. I am your club president, Josh. We have the usual suspects. You can see everybody's Twitter and stuff like that somewhere down here.
Hold on, Chaz. Can you put the porn back on the TV, please?
Oh, yeah, hand me the
You don't have to ask me twice. Wait, hang on. I want to do this. I don't get to play with two screens on. There we go.
Control out.
There's the boobies.
There we go.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, we have another TV screen that you can't see. That
For,
has the
for legal reasons.
Yeah, for so we can continue the stream, we have the actual porn we're looking at here. If you go to the Discord, which you can see in one of these corners, you can go there, go to the Hentai Literature Club channel, and then you can find it there yourself. But yes, this is Season 2, so what's different about this one in the last couple of episodes? Well, before we would look at tags and discuss the tags. This time I gave everybody an artist, particularly the artist Methonium, and I gave them a tankoubun of their work, and we're going to look at that tankoubun.
Woo.
So, as I said, I got myself, Josh, Annie, Melinda, Chaz, Xavier's over there watching the chili. You should have your beer ready, as the rest of us do.
I have the coffee.
I too have the coffee.
It's decaf, but yeah.
Do you have cafe latte?
Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah, the tankoubun I gave them is called Muchi Lover.
I just got mocha, so I guess I got the dark skin tag.
Okay, look in the picture.
You count. You're Puerto Rican, you count.
So yeah, this one has 9 chapters in it. Go ahead and sit down, Xavier, if you wish.
You do want to pass me this so it's not in the way?
Maybe I want something soft on my butt.
Would you like it?
That's okay.
So I can't ask you what you all think of the tags, because this time there is no tag, there's an artist.
They're all fantastic.
Yeah.
I think there was a common running tag. No.
Oh yeah, do you want to say what you thought it was?
Big women? Is that a tag? I don't know.
No.
Big beautiful
Which
woman is a
basically
tag.
means soft or squishy lover.
I don't think this counts as BBW though.
No, BBW was a tag on this. So if you don't know who Methonium is, it's kind of hard to find information about actual hentai artists, but if you're familiar with Methonium's work, then you know that Methonium likes to draw what we would here in the West call thick women. And here we typically give that... Huh? Because not everybody likes to use that word. Some people like Tom get mad about it. But,
Wait, why does Tom get mad? This is the first
No.
I've heard of this.
he doesn't get mad. It's a joking kind of mad. But some people are tired of the term. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for clarifying that, Daryl.
Does it mean soft or squishy lover? Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's what Muchi Lover means.
Okay.
But yeah, Methonium really likes to use the BBW tag, huge breast, big ass, and tall girls, and sometimes short men. You all actually have read Methonium before because during the Season 1 finale episode, the work I had everybody read called Because It's You Shorty was by Methonium. And that one, as you saw...
Was that the one where she went with that dude because he kicked ass at martial arts?
Yes.
Yeah. And Xavier picked the story that, again, involved martial arts to talk about.
Oh yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah, so because there's 9 chapters, I didn't expect everybody to read the whole thing. I read the whole thing, Annie read the whole thing, I believe Chaz got halfway through it, and I believe Melinda and Xavier picked a few stories to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Daryl says I'm not wrong. I don't think I'm wrong yet. That's very typical of Methonium, is the kind of stuff I just mentioned. He
No,
also.
I think he said that when you guys were talking about the thick
Oh.
and I'm not entirely sure though. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, the other tag I think Methonium likes to use is the dark skin tag. And if I'm not mistaken, Methonium is actually a female hentai mangaka.
Really?
Do you know that for sure?
There's a blurb at the end.
Oh, yeah. I also read the blurb. I didn't know if that was just a character or if that was like a characterization of himself. So for those of you who actually don't know, apparently it's actually...
You can't see me, I'm self-important. I guess.
Yeah, apparently it's actually a pretty even 50-50 split when it comes to hentai mangaka, whether they're a man or a woman. Apparently it's actually a pretty even balance, but much like erotica authors in the West, they tend to obscure their identity, so like I guess other work they do won't be tainted by the fact that they've done erotic artwork or erotic manga.
So that's interesting, since you mentioned erotica authors in the West. Those tend to be predominantly women. What do you guys think of that, I guess, I don't want to say phenomenon because that sounds wrong, but I think in the West, and I know it's not, I definitely know for sure it's not true, but usually in the West, porn itself seems to be seen as mainly a guy thing. And then in Japan, you have these hentai artists that are 50-50, and then when it comes to erotica, that seems to be predominantly women.
Well, I know that in the West, when it comes to people who write erotica, even though they say it's mostly women,
This sounds back to being mechanical, guys.
I don't know what to do about that. We're just gonna have to kind of roll with it, I guess.
How bad is it?
But
See, this is what happened when Adam's not here to do quality assurance.
yeah, somebody needs to be here to monitor all the other stuff we can't literally reach out to.
Sam went back to mechanical labs and lessons.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's awful.
Ooh.
There's a really bad reverb.
Why?
Could you go over there real quick? Here's the mouse. And see if the C920 isn't picking up any audio.
You know what? I bet you it is.
You son of a bitch, Shannon 20. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, you fucker. You absolute bitch bastard.
There we go. That should work better. Does
Okay,
this-
guys.
tell me if it sounds better as we're continuing to talk.
We're about a minute or two behind.
Okay. Okay.
Fix that shit.
Okay.
You don't understand. I'm so used to being an amateur. When we actually fix an issue, it's exhilarating to me.
Okay, yeah, but apparently when it comes to Western erotica, people who make Western erotica or write it, since we don't typically draw it, it's the women who write it. A lot of times, it's also men writing using female pen
Perfection,
names.
we did know.
That's true. That one time when we almost did it, I totally used a female pen name.
And the idea is that it is, I think, 80% of erotica authors in the West are women readers. So the idea is that, like, as a psychological thing, if you're reading something sexually orientated, you want it from the perspective of somebody the same gender as you.
I think it's also.
I mean, I get it, because if I'm reading it, I want somebody that's going to understand
What it feels like.
my experience.
Well,
But
now
would you
that
judge them based on the name?
No, I mean, but then that's also not something I genuinely look at with any book. I just kind of grab things.
I don't know. I look at Dr. Seuss, I'm like, this is gonna be great.
yeah, but knowing that this the author, the mangaka of this tankoubun is a woman, does that influence the way you looked at it at all?
You know what?
Because that's something we usually don't talk about when we look at these hentai artists.
That absolutely does, because I had this thought as I was reading it, and especially with the cafe latte ones. But going on, I could sort of see it reflected, and I'll hold off. But that's actually very interesting.
The master and the commander. I missed the rush levels of reverb. Change it back.
No.
So, Daryl says, to me, I noticed that the female authors have a stronger sense of plot, and male focus more on the play or tag.
Something I did notice, outside of the fact that Methonium is a woman, is that these stories are all pretty heavily reliant on like some sort of central issue in the relationship. The exception being Cafe Latte. Cafe Latte. Well, we might as well kind of go through the summary of these stories. So,
You know what? What I found interesting was that these hentai are super short.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, even, you know, we talk about before how they only have like 16 pages to establish something. But Methonium has a very get in, get out kind of style. Like, set up, banging, resolution, we're done here.
Well, just as a general, for those of you who read most of these or read a few of the stories, what did you feel like was a unifying element you saw amongst these stories by this one author?
Thick women.
Thick women. I mean, that's a valid thing to notice because Methonium, I think, does have a particular art style. So something that I pointed out, obviously, Methonium likes to draw like the wide hips. Methonium also kind of likes to draw like that like chubbiness on the back around the hips and the tummy.
The birthing hips.
The birthing hips. They also like to draw, like I said, the big butts and the huge boobs and the thick thighs.
Now, see, I tended to notice that usually there's a focus on one or the other. Like, and the one kind of not really Shoto one with the Gyaru with pigtails chick. She had really huge knockers, but the ass was not as pronounced as in some of the other. And it was Cafe Latte that made me realize...
one had a big butt and the other one had big boobs.
Right. There's this thing. Now, they talked about it in the anime prison school, but I've actually heard about it before.
Oh, why are butts better than breasts?
Yeah, well, okay, I mean, I'm a breast guy. I don't agree with that. They're fucking heathens. But it's I've heard it I've heard it before that it's because when we used to walk on all fours and we walked upright and breasts are only doing what asses used to do. I almost felt like she was having that argument with herself as I was reading this because this is very much a breast versus ass dynamic, and I find it very interesting that they gave the big ass to the Gyaru.
No.
Like I wonder if that's a bit of cultural bias seeping in.
Daryl says he's greedy and would like to have both.
I understand.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, proportionally, women who have one usually have the other.
Well, something else is both Yusuf and Daryl pointed out. Every single one of these relations, sans one, if I recall, are down to earth and humane, while Daryl pointed out consensual relationships, eager female characters, and the male tend to be kind and reasonable.
That's a good damn point.
Yeah, those are all things I also noticed. Going back to the art, though, I also noticed that Methonium tends to draw women with softer features as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was just an art style.
Yeah, that's why I like as part of her art style. Men also tend to also have pretty soft features. Yeah. This guy, the character in the first story, Cafe Latte Lovers. Wrong computer.
So it's like the Starship Enterprise up in this motherfucker. You don't know what you're hitting.
Yeah, the main character, the male protagonist, is called Moomin, and I think it's a reference to the Finnish cartoon characters. What are they called? Moomins, I think. Moomoons.
This is a nerd reference. It's above my head. I'm sorry.
They're like a children's cartoon series. But yeah, something I also did notice was like a lot of the men in these stories, while they are sexually aggressive, I think it's usually the women in these stories that tended to be more sexually aggressive than the men.
I didn't pick up on it right away, and now that everything's in context, it makes sense. But I remember reading through this, and I went, we finally have a hentai that's not horrible. Like, I don't feel like I have to go to therapy after this.
I was going to say they're all pretty, like, nice. You're not going to feel guilty reading these. You're not going to be like, oh, I read something.
It's a guilty pleasure, but it's not a guilty pleasure.
Oh, yeah. Something else that I did notice that Daryl's pointing out is that some of the men in these stories are also physically built, where I think a lot of hentai made by men, the men look pretty average or non-existent almost.
Well, I think that's because, maybe if it is something where it's written from a male's point of view, but I think they kind of do something similar in like Western porn, where they'll have like this really idealized woman, and then just look at fucking Ron Jeremy, man. You can't tell me that guy's picked for his looks. So that is a good point. I feel like they do that so that the guy specifically can project onto that character. Whereas
you're just an average dude.
Which is kind of funny because when I was doing my creative writing degree, they say one of the worst things you can do is be general and make somebody you can project yourself onto, because the more specific and realistic you make a character, even if they're different from you, you're better able to relate to them because they seem like a real person. So that's something I always think about when I either see or read these hentai or like see anime manga related games, where the protagonist is literally has no fucking eyes and his hair comes down to here, and it's either black or brown, and he's completely average with no personality. To me, that's worse than having a character who is somewhat developed as some of the men in these stories
Well,
are.
that always makes me think of Mouse. Like, all of the characters are animals, and it's one of those stories where you have an emotional attachment to them, even though they're animals. You'd think, oh, they're, I can't relate to that, but like, it's, they have feelings and a backstory and all of these traits that make you go, oh, like, this is a real human experience kind of situation.
Now, do you think that's something that is intrinsic to the medium? Because I've noticed that in a lot of other mediums, people tend to like these like blank slate characters. Like, look at fucking Master Chief. Master Chief was like one of the biggest video game things forever, and I think John Henry Irons had like, what, 2 lines in Halo 2? Was it John Henry Irons? Was that the voice actor?
I don't remember. I think mostly it's because
I could be thinking of Sam
men
Fisher.
are more visually stimulated, and so we don't. At least as far as the other person goes, so we don't care what we look like. Obviously.
Oh, I wish I could disagree with you.
Is the chili still on?
Oh yeah, no, it's done.
I'm gonna check it real quick.
I have the USB extensions. We don't have to act like fucking animals here. But we get to. That's a privilege.
Yeah, so I also think it's I kind of like the fact that these men have some characterization and the fact that they look different. I believe Daryl and Shamino were in here in the chat. I believe we had this chat before where we were discussing, or at least they were discussing, and I chimed in every once in a while, how frustrating it is when a mangaka artist, including hentai mangaka, draw the same faces every time.
Oh yeah.
I think with Methonium, she kind of draws very similar female bodies. I think some of the faces look different enough.
They aren't bad female bodies.
Yeah.
I did notice. Maybe we're not into dissecting each and every text yet. That goes as far as, so there's the what was it called? The one where the chick's trying on the swimsuit, right? And then the one immediately after that is a sequel to that one. And
It's nice to meet you.
That's why they tend to be shy, and also the majority are rather undeveloped.
well, I just found it interesting that the characters from one to the other look like almost completely different characters, to the point where I even have to wonder if it was intended to be a sequel. Now, yeah, you could say it like, okay, one got a haircut and the other grew her hair out, but they look completely
in the
different.
Peach Butt motion stories,
Whatever the fuck that was called.
I think it's because I think some of them they look different because it's meant to take place sometime afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of how I rationalize it in my head, but I still thought it was interesting that the characters looked so different.
But you also have to remember, these weren't written to be a collection. These were each published individually in different magazines that the mangaka then had the rights to publish their own volume with their own work in it.
That's cool. I wonder if it works like first world printing rights in here. Because that's neat. That's neat that you can like get your own stuff and publish it yourself.
So
How is it?
let's go over the
It's a
stories that we
little
have
chilly.
here.
Stop.
Did you like that one?
So who here liked or read the story Cafe Latte Lovers?
That one was the one I skimmed through the most.
No.
Or rather, I did not pay attention to the most. I skimmed through everything, so I have a general idea. But that one was just like, I don't know.
I thought you would like it. You like the dark skin tag.
Daryl says it's great.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like Gyaru chicks. Like, do you feel like Gyaru is like counterfeit dark skin?
You're not really dark.
Yeah, for those of you who went to the Discord and have the volume in front of you, the cafe one was pure disgust in me.
Yeah, pure disgust. That's a...
You're a man that takes your coffee black.
Wrong order for the entrances and exits. Oh, I get what you mean.
You know what? That's actually something I noticed that happens, and isn't that supposed to be like really unsanitary?
Oh yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
It happens in more than one story where the characters are having sex and they move from anal to vaginal sex.
But it just looks like the guy has 2 penises.
I was thinking they're like, oh yeah, I'll be the coffee and I'll be the milk. It's like, Why doesn't he? This is a fucking hentai. You can do whatever. There's people with tentacles coming out of their crotch. He might as well have 2 dicks.
But yeah, in Cafe Latte Lovers and in Peach Butt Motion and its sequel Peach Butt Ocean, there are points where the character goes from anal to vaginal. That's also something that comes up quite often in Methonium stories is anal sex.
I mean, hey, there are chicks that really like it. It's interesting. That anal to vaginal thing just bothers me. You would think, like, as a woman, she would know that. Now, do you think that was, like, a deliberate... Yeah, I don't fucking care. It's hentai.
No, they don't give a shit, because in hentai, everyone has a pristinely clean asshole. Unless it's a point that it's not.
Porn. I think that's all porn, if I'm going to be honest. Because I've seen girls that just take it from the ass to the mouth, and I'm like, ugh.
That is gross. It's supposed your poo-poo's dirty, people.
Like there's a lot of bacteria in there you don't want.
Yeah, people who actually have anal sex, you usually either wear a condom to just not care about the dirty butt issue,
or they're also saying, "I love the tag. It's just the wrong order. It drives me insane."
No, you're absolutely right, Yusuf.
There's a certain order to these things for hygiene, and when you break that, it's just like anal oral is just like, why would you do that?
Well, because usually the person either cleans himself out or they give themselves an enema to ensure there's no fecal matter in the anal cavity.
Yeah. Bacteria remains, though, is the problem.
Yeah. You can go vaginal to anal, but you can't go the other way around.
You pretty much have to bleach your asshole. Which people do.
Well, yeah, I summarized all the stories as I gave it to them because I didn't expect them all to read the whole thing. So
I gave it a good damn shot. I
appreciate it.
I got it, like, early this morning when I first started looking. I had to sleep at some point, and then
yeah, with Cafe Latte Lovers, it's about 2 of the most attractive girls in their school. One of them is pale skin and has huge breasts. The other is dark skin, blonde hair, and a huge ass. And it turns out they're dating the same guy, and they're dating him because at 2 different points he helped them out, and he was basically the only sensible, nice guy to them.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Or do you want to wait for after you're done with the overview?
No, yeah. I mean, that's basically the summary. It's just them having sex, and they briefly discuss why they're with him.
Right.
While they're having sex.
But, so, they when they discuss it, like, the Gyaro chick was made fun of for having a big ass, and all the kids used to sexually harass the chick with big tits. And then they go, oh, well, now my ass is yours. Now my tits are yours. Knowing that this is from a female mangaka, that seems interesting, because that seems like a very male-centric fantasy.
I don't think it's always male-centric. I think, because at some point they do say, and your penis belongs to us.
That's fair.
It's an exchange of ownership.
Yeah, I think that's just like a...
There's, like, equal rights there.
See, now I just signing over deeds to his dick. I mean... I'd say, 2 for 1, you got the better end of that deal. So, just by pure capitalism. I mean,
because it doesn't seem like
the man is in the black.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the girls are doing things together without him. Like, it's...
Yeah, they're basically in an actual 3-way relationship.
Which is difficult. But I guess when there's so much sex involved, you don't care.
Yeah, was there anything else that stuck out to you all about this story? Was there something interesting you found in it?
Again, I felt like this whole thing was like an internal debate. Ass! Tits!
Daryl said he feels like it's more being happy and proud of their bodies with a person than they like and respect.
No, I definitely see that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, you didn't make fun of me for this, so you get to enjoy it.
Daryl says, I feel like it's more of being happy, proud of their bodies with a person that they like and respect.
Babe, I don't think you can
hear
that.
No, I can hear. It's just that I just now processed that. I was like, wait, he just said that.
These fucking nerds talking about porn.
No, I actually think that's something that comes up in a lot of these stories that's collected by this mangaka, and that there's a lot of that appreciating the body you have and having somebody who appreciates your body the way it is. Because that comes up in the story Nice to Meet You and Just to Meet to You, where the girl's insecure about her weight and the guy's like, I don't know why you're insecure. I love everything about this, as he's touching her all over.
Is this how you touch?
Yeah, you just all over. And then also in that Peach Butt Motion.
Yeah, so is that what he does to you? He just comes up and just... like, that's the cue for sexy time? Because this is headcanon now.
Cool M jumped in. He said,
Cool Imp!
Greetings, Cool Imp. It's nice to see you here.
You had to shout that?
Cool Imp is cool.
These body types are not very desired in Japanese culture, despite what people think is sterile.
Yeah, we've also had that conversation on the Discord where, there is a certain body type that's appreciated in Japan, and that's usually the very stereotypical. I don't know what you call it. It's like the traditional Japanese. It's like how in Hispanic culture we have the idea of Merianisma, where there's like the woman with dark hair, bright brown eyes, red lips, and like a curvy but thin figure. In Japan, I forget what it's called. There's actually a name for it, but it's the idea of the ideal woman as somebody who's
Super
quiet,
pale.
demure, pale, black hair with a hime haircut.
Slender, yeah. And that's where the whole Gyaru thing popped up as a counterculture thing.
Yeah,
Thin, regal black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting because almost all these stories kind of have that element of the man appreciating the woman's body for the way it is, and the woman, I guess, learning to be comfortable with her body. And that's something that I've actually seen come up. It comes up in Cafe Latte Lovers, where the girl talks about her butt, and in the Peach Butt Motion stories, where the girl's also insecure about her butt. I've also seen other hentai stories that involve butts, where that's like a part of the story is a girl insecure about the butt, and the guy is just really into butts, and he's like, I understand I'm against the norm in our culture, but I find everything about this magnificent kind of thing. What do you all think about that element that comes up in the stories a lot in Methonium's work with the whole appreciate your body and find somebody who appreciates it?
Can I be honest about something?
Oh dear.
It was too preachy.
No. And you're welcome to chime in. I don't understand how women can have these societally desirable assets. May not be the best way to describe it, but you know what I mean. And still be insecure about themselves. I tell you, you're beautiful every day.
Because there's some girls that don't like having it that size, and they see other girls that might have it more so quote unquote normal because they've seen it so much if it's a common one.
But also,
And then, so when they stand out more, it's like, oh God, do I look weird? So yeah.
But no, guys are attracted to the different thing, the unique thing.
But I mean, men have the same kind of societal thing. It's just not talked about as much. Do you not feel sometimes like, oh, I don't look like all of those?
It's like, why don't I have...
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm a fat fucker.
Yeah.
But no,
it's the same thing.
Like,
but see, here's the thing. Nobody's going, hey, look at that guy. He's got a belly. I'd like to ride that. But with women, asses are fantastic. Boobs are God's gift to the universe.
Have you been around a lot of women who are shallow?
But it's like to a point. If it's too big, it's just,
I've
has
heard
to be
some
big
women
in
talk
certain
shit
ways.
about guys, and it's ridiculous.
Something
that's
else
what
that
I'm talking
I think that you should consider is that, remember how the girl with the large breast talks about how men sexually harass her?
Okay, that's fair.
That's a thing that happens in Japanese culture and in Western culture too, where if a woman has large breasts or she has like a curvaceous figure, that some men will be like, well, she must be slutty, look how hot she is, kind of thing.
Women don't have to look any way to get sexually
that
harassed.
pops up a lot too.
But
Also,
I imagine like it still happens more, right?
Well, that's because guys encompass everything. There's somebody for everything.
Daryl said guys have that problem. Till recently, being nerdy was a very poor thing. Still not that cool in modern times. Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, I mean...
Gee, thanks!
I mean, no, this is a post... Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings Society. Nerds are the in thing now.
I mean,
I'd argue
certain nerds are a cool thing. It's the hipstery nerds that are the cool thing.
On that brief aside, I think it's more that certain nerdy things have entered the cultural zeitgeist enough where they're not nerdy anymore.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars. You can't call somebody a nerd for liking Star Wars anymore. Everybody likes Star Wars. You're the weird one if you don't like Star Wars.
I remember...
I don't like Star Wars.
You don't like Star Wars now.
Yeah.
I remember a while ago, I had this buddy. I haven't talked to him in years. We used to call him Chuggins, but he was. Check it out. This dude, whiter than me, and the most amazing rapper I've ever met. Like this guy, I used to go to shows that he would play like downtown and stuff. Blow the roof off the fucking joint. You could see the audience look at him slack-jawed. Yeah, I think he still operates under radar theory. If anybody can get in touch with that guy, tell him to contact me because that guy was awesome. Anyway. I remember we're sitting down, and this guy was the complete opposite of what you would think of as a nerd. And then he calls himself a nerd one day. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm such a nerd. I was playing Tekken for like 3 hours. And I just look at this guy like...
You don't know what it is.
I understand what you're saying, but you're completely fucking wrong. Cause I'm running like, D&D once a week.
You've never played D&D for 12 hours straight.
There's this one point where he called me up, and he was joking. I didn't know he was joking, but he's like, "Hey, you know, you want to come over and play some D&D?" And me, I'm going, "Oh, I'm actually about on my way to run some D&D. You want to come?" And he's like, he didn't know what to say.
Because there's like certain levels of nerd that people aren't familiar with, right?
Yeah.
So there's just like, oh, I like comic books. It's like, well, I mean, nowadays that's whatever. There's Marvel comics and whatever, but and then there's D&D, and then there's like above that there's like LARPing, and then past that, I mean, I don't know, spreadsheets for like EVE Online.
Hang on,
Spreadsheets for
hang on.
online.
I've been going down the rabbit hole. I've actually figured out what the next thing is. And I
Dora
can't.
says for my dad, he still makes fun of me for taking jewelry class instead of woodworking to this day.
Yeah.
Hey, jewelry is a hell of a lot more expensive than anything you make with wood, except maybe a house. So tell your dad he can stuff it.
Plus, who's gonna have the last laugh when you get the ability to enchant your rings and he doesn't?
You can't enchant your house.
You can.
Make the one ring.
Okay, normal people can't enchant their houses.
Well, that was World of Warcraft.
You and
joke,
your
if
Mexican
anybody-
magic, yeah, I guess you can.
Did you not see the evil eye walking in?
Going back to the Cafe Latte Lovers, as I told you, this is a collection of works that were previously published. Why do you think it's significant about this story that it got put up first, and then also got that bonus chapter at the beginning where it's colorized, where it's the three main characters at the beach having sex?
Because you have the best of both worlds.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Why do you think this story was put first, and why do you think it was popular enough to warrant getting a bonus color chapter at the beginning?
Well, I mean,
I kind of agree with Melinda. It has kind of like both boobs
Yeah,
and
it
butts.
has
Like
boobs
it
and
has
ass.
something to, you know,
plus
more people are gonna like.
Not that one is in the other one is
No,
lacking
it's just
the
like-
other. It's
It's just that there's, you know, you get people that like boobs and you also get people that like butts instead of like some of the other ones that only had
You
one
have
thing.
several fetishes here. You have the boobs,
Yeah.
you have the ass, you have the
Once
pale
again,
skin, you have the dark skin, you
on
have the
keyboard.
blonde hair. And you have them to be as thick. So.
well, I also
there's-
want to say, like I said before, I've noticed that Methonium usually in her work she'll focus on one or the other. This is the one where she had both, so I guess this is like the introduction to her portfolio.
also lots of hearts in the eyes.
No.
Lots of hearts on the speech bubbles.
And in their mouths. Did you guys
No,
notice that?
yeah, that happens too. Where, sometimes people draw like the uvula at the back.
It
but
was just a
sometimes
heart.
it's a hentai thing to draw the heart instead of
Huh.
the uvula.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Going back, like I also think like the male figure isn't particularly like manly looking. He's like a very soft-bodied, soft-featured kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's just a normal kid. Okay, I shouldn't say kid. They're probably 18 people.
What do you also think about the title, like that idea of like the best of both worlds and the cafe latte kind of thing? Do you think that's like strictly a sexual thing, or is there some sort of relationship thing happening here with the way that term is used in the story?
Where they get both of them. He gets both of them, and they're fine with it.
I mean, there is an allusion to separate personalities, right? And I think that's kind of what they address in the lunchroom. But I don't actually see that go anywhere. So I almost feel like it's a characterizing device, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Daryl says just a design choice to show great affection.
Oh yeah, with the hearts in the eyes and the mouth.
Oh, okay.
We have to remember that they're a little behind us.
That's right. Yeah.
So when they're typing something, it's in response to something we said a few seconds ago. Yeah, let's go to the next story. What did you all think? This time it's translated as fidgety motion, but usually I see it translated as peach butt motion.
I prefer peach butt motion. That one sounds funny.
Yeah. Common porn title for mixing dark with pale women in Japan. Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool that we actually get to have the conversation here. Dude, live streaming this was a great idea.
Yeah, thanks. What did you all think about this story about peach butt motion? I think it definitely has that element of somebody being insecure with their body and realizing their partner is attracted to it.
Oh, this is the one with she has a big butt and she doesn't want to.
Yeah, she's insecure about her butt.
Yeah, this one.
You see it right there in that panel right there, where she's kind of like trying to cover her butt so he doesn't see it. And apparently she spends most of their relationship facing him front, so he doesn't see her butt. Which I feel like at some point I would find very suspicious.
It's just like, what
If I
what you trying to
never
hide to
faced,
me?
if I was only ever.
Yeah,
Why
like
you
if you
never
made a-
walk in front of me.
Yeah, like why don't it would be like, why do you never face away from me? But like there are times where you're interacting with the space around you, or it would be awkward if you were always facing me. It'd feel like a bad AI in a video game.
Just Z targeting.
So what is she doing? Is she tucking her wiener?
Like,
in
I'm not-
between? Like, I don't.
I'm not gonna lie, I do that to Charlie a lot. Like, I tend to face back against him because I feel like I have a belly and I don't
Oh.
like that. So like I face the other way from him. I don't know if you ever noticed that. But...
That explains a lot.
But yeah, she's like she just has a big butt. Like her breasts are average.
She's still beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're pretty average.
Is this the one where you thought the characters look different from this chapter than
Yeah.
this one?
Like they look completely like different characters here. Like she's got a fucking ponytail in the next one, and the other guy like here he's got like this fucking Yu-Gi-Oh shit going on upstairs, and then it's just completely like close to his skull the next time. I would, like I said, if it wasn't for the names being the same, I would wonder if it was originally intended to be a sequel, or if she's like, hey, let's fuck at the beach.
Well, it's his idea.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize that they're going to a nudist beach in Peach Butt Ocean.
There's a lot of, I guess, like, submissive undertones in this one.
Yeah, where they start going like, oh no, and it's like, oh wait, no, don't stop, just I'll do this.
No, wait, actually, don't stop.
I thought you were going to comment about the angle or something.
I was gonna comment on how she draws skirts. Like the length of skirts in her drawings.
What?
Those are mini
It
skirts.
covers her butt.
It does not cover her butt.
It covers her butt when it's not from like that angle.
Yeah, not if you
No,
look from
in the
underneath.
first one, it's the same thing. Oh, hold on, sorry. In the other story, when they're buying,
Their cafe lattes.
look at that's not even from down.
Okay, that's a little from down.
Very slightly, but it shouldn't show.
Yeah, see,
that.
look at the
Yeah.
other one is a little bit up, and you can't see the butt. Or I mean, her head's in the way, but I'm assuming you don't see.
Okay,
Look.
do you remember? Oh, that actually reminds me of something. But do you remember in the one where when we did the Chicon? Same thing. Like the chick's fucking skirt was deliberately askew.
You guys want to know what the real reason for that is? It
Fan
saves on
service.
ink.
No.
You draw longer skirts, you got to make them dark. That takes more
The
ink.
real reason is to look at the butts.
I mean, yeah, but I'm giving you the reason that they would give a normal person. Like, why don't you make your skirts longer? It's like that would take too much ink, man.
Can I say one thing about the previous text? Because I just noticed it while she was tabbing through. Did you guys notice that for the Gyaru chick, they tended to give her a lot of like the cultural affectations of an ogre?
Oh, yeah, that's something like that comes up a lot when it comes to Gyarus.
Because
Like
if you notice, there's a lot where she just has the fangs when you see her underwear, and it's like that tiger stripe shit that the ogres tend to wear. What you said that comes up a lot? Is that like?
Yeah, well, it comes up a lot in hentai. I don't know about like regular manga.
Why do the Japanese hate Gyaru so much?
I think it's we've talked about it before, but it's like they eroticize Gyarus because they're like cultural outliers.
Right.
And I guess like the idea of like a Gyaru is usually like a very brash, aggressive person.
That's an actual
They don't
style
cut.
over there, sweetie.
Thank you. I'm aware.
Yeah, so it's like it's like they're brash and they're loud, unlike that stereotypical quote unquote ideal Japanese woman. And so in a sense that really relates to like that strong, powerful Oni kind of ogre stereotype.
Get it. Daryl says one famous porn series for dark-skinned girls is called Hot Chocolate.
Oh.
Xavier has his summer reading locked up.
Well, that's the thing about Xavier. He's always reading hentai.
Purely ignorance is what Daryl said.
That's my secret. I'm always reading hentai.
Yeah, we didn't really summarize this one, but this story, Peach Butt Ocean, and the next chapter, Peach Butt Ocean, is about a couple where the girl has a very large butt and she's insecure about it, and the guy wants them to spend their summer going to the beach. And so she's like, oh no, I don't want you to see my butt. She doesn't say that to him directly, but she doesn't want him to see her butt, so she's like, oh, I don't have a swimsuit. He's like, oh, I have a part-time job. I just got paid. I'll buy you a swimsuit. And so they go to try on swimsuits in Peach Butt Motion, and then they end up getting into an erotic situation in the changing room when he realizes...
While she's talking to somebody.
Yeah. That's where the exhibition tag comes in.
Oh, I didn't know. What is it? Sorry.
And then Peach Butt Ocean is the one where they actually go to the beach, but it seems like it takes place like a year later almost, where they end up having public sex at the beach.
Holding on to the swimsuit for so long. Because her hair's not that long right there.
Yeah, it's pretty short, and then the second one she has like a full-on ponytail and everything.
I actually didn't realize they were the same people. Do you mind if I look to see the...
No, go ahead. Also have a hard time believing that bikini he makes her try on the end would be sold at a typical department store.
Yeah.
Right?
He had to make that
Also-
himself. Wouldn't be very hard.
She's trying on these swimsuits without underwear or anything to cover. That's not how women regularly try swimsuits on, because that's a lot of vaginas touching something if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's just something I thought.
It's not sanitary.
It's not sanitary.
Are you saying this porn is not realistic on IE?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're just surprised there's a K. I'm gonna lick your asshole.
There was no like speaking about this beforehand. He
No.
just flat out went and licked her butt.
That would not happen. He would get kicked in the face.
There was definitely no consent here, and then she just kind of like
He would have
went
got
along
kicked in
with
the
it.
face if she was a centaur.
No, he would have been.
Well, there's that whole idea of them trying to maintain cultural politeness, and that she doesn't want the store woman to realize that
She
something's
still
happening
does.
back there.
She's getting
Yeah.
her ass eaten. Yeah, it's
How-
about
how-
saving face.
How did they get through this, and then the manager still fucking notices?
Well,
You know
they say
what?
she found
She
out.
does. She does. Look, yeah. I mean, but they're being.
Well, I know
loud.
she does. I'm saying like how. I know they get caught at the end. I'm
Yeah.
aware of that. It's just like how. What happened? Like they
It's-
they got through him actively fucking her in the ass right in front of her. That went over fine, but somehow
Later,
I don't
the
know.
cover was blown.
Maybe the semen dripping out of her swimsuit is just like, okay.
maybe they just got too rowdy.
Yusuf said, "How can you say you love her if you can't even eat her poop?" I'm pretty sure that's a quote from another hentai.
I've seen that as a meme in an image dump.
What's passion, baby?
I think he's replying
Oh,
to it.
okay. I was like, is that maybe the title?
Oh no, please don't.
Do you have anything to say about the sequel for this story?
How do you? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no.
How do you go to a beach where people are having sex and not realize it?
What do you mean?
Well,
Because
'cause
the
she does-
ocean is so
She
pretty.
doesn't realize that
She-
there's people having sex around her. And
I mean, well, because she's covering her eyes, meaning the sun was in her eyes, meaning she was just walking through, like, oh boy, the beach, and then she gets there, she puts her hand over her eyes to cover the sun, boom.
Oh, no.
But there have to be signs outside so nobody just, no random person with a family walks into
This
a
is
beach.
also like a very stereotypical hentai scenario that I've seen before.
I guess I
In
can't.
that it's like a beach where people go to have sex in public.
Or like,
Yeah,
or
you've
like,
never been to Unmarked Fuck Beach?
or like a
I
park.
pass
late
it every day on the way to work.
Yeah, there was like parks late at night. It's just like, oh, don't bring your kids around here. People just fuck.
The Master and the Commander, you're incredibly dense. He was.
Old Henry. Who's incredibly dense?
Surely
it might
not.
be me.
Could be me. Fuck. I get things wrong all the time. So there was one thing I wanted to mention about this, which I thought was funny. After they get done banging, and the dude is like, "Okay, I'll never do this again. So let's go again because this is our
It's-
one time."
Today's the day.
Yeah, and then she's like, "But then we won't have any time to swim." So did they go swimming? Because after that,
Yeah,
it's all them
Yeah,
playing in the
they
water
went
and shit.
swimming. They went swimming.
That's that.
What a weird thing
constitutes
that happened in the hentai. Let's have sex again. Nah, I'm gonna swim. Swimming.
I mean, he kind of pressured her into that scenario, so it's kind of like, well, might as well let her have the fun she thought she was gonna have.
It's like, oh, I guess.
I might as well indulge the false pretenses I brought her here under.
And did you guys see the panel where the people are just actually full on watching them?
Yeah, there's
There was-
just like,
There was no talking about it. He doesn't know if that's what she's into. Like he's already fucking her in this beach, and now there's an audience right in front of her.
Just a big group.
Well, what do you? Because there's almost like a narrative thing to this, in that the previous chapter is about kind of her coming to accept her body and her partner's appreciation of it, and in this one, it's moving from appreciation to exhibition, and that he's like, show them how your ass is and how it swallows my penis, basically.
As you do.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they didn't know how an ass swallows a penis. He was doing them a public service. And you're going to criticize a good Samaritan?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, if this was a real situation, that's a problematic scenario to coerce your partner into doing that without telling them before.
But this is a hentai, so
Yeah, we get right back into the it's a hentai, it's a fantasy.
She's gonna love it anyway.
Secretly, they're into it.
I mean, she does say don't stop, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to justify this scenario, but I always try to keep in mind that this is a fantasy, and sometimes you cut the consent, like, hey, are you cool with this part, gets cut out for the sake of expediting sexual acts.
It's important.
That's one thing that we talked about in the onsen episode too.
Yeah.
It's just like it's part of the fantasy. I definitely see a lot of submissive undertones in this text, and I think maybe the omission of consent is part of that, or maybe not the omission of consent, but wanting her partner to take control and drive her towards that might be.
What do you think about that submissive aspect, and that it's the partner that brings out the body acceptance, basically, through not necessarily dominating acts, but playing upon the partner's submissiveness?
I don't know. Apparently, I'm fucking doing it wrong because I can't convince her of shit.
Well, that's because your dick isn't that good. Apparently.
I don't know, Xavier. Come tell me. We'll find out. Hey, Melinda's been asking for it for years.
Xavier, so I guess you're gonna see both of their heck out.
Hentai Literature Club special, only on Pornhub.
But yeah, I don't think it's because it's usually they give into the pleasure. That's what it usually is. They're just like, I don't care anymore. Give me more of your penis.
Yeah.
But see, at least we'll know when it starts because Josh will walk up to us and do that.
Test his pipe on air.
That might get us kicked off of the live stream.
Might?
I don't know. It depends on how well we can argue the people on YouTube watching this that this is educational.
No, this educational purposes, as you can see, students.
Hey, that's
the diameter has dilated.
That's a pretty common hentai trope in the "let me show you, students, how sex happens," and that's how a bunch of students end up having sex with the teacher. Different tags, different artists.
Lolly and Shota people. We'll get to those.
Oh, is there anything else you guys want to say about these two particular chapters? What do you think you could extrapolate from what I asked you, Chaz, about the whole submissiveness being brought into that aspect of body acceptance?
Makes me feel bad because I'm doing it wrong. I don't have a literary analysis on that. It hits a little too close to home. I guess I could say. Well, let me ask you. What do you think about that? You struggle with body issues a little bit, and you are of a submissive nature. Does it resonate with you on any level when you look at this, when you hear about it?
I just feel like, I don't know. Once you're getting dead, it doesn't really matter anymore.
So you immediately get self-conscious once the deading is done?
Yeah, I don't know why, but like when you're in the moment, you're just like, your brain just goes somewhere else.
I mean, that's something that happens in these stories too, right? Like in that Pleased to Meet You. Mm-hmm. There's that whole she's insecure with her body up until they start having sex, and then it's almost like, well, he can't not like my body if he's...
Yeah, because you're already in the middle of it. So it's like, well, shit.
I mean, plus, like, I'm here, I'm a fan. You don't pay front row tickets to fucking Ghost unless you like Ghost.
Well, Daryl says that Once I Get Bigger is his favorite Methonium story.
It was his first Methonium story.
Oh, it was his first.
What a coincidence. It was my fifth.
Well, yeah, let's move on to that one.
Sixth,
no,
technically.
because we did the other one.
Yeah, so When I Get Bigger, for those of you not currently reading the story or don't have it in front of you.
Why are you not? Our Discord people, it's a good time, I promise. Now, I personally wouldn't know, I'm never on it, but I've heard good things.
You looked at
Xavier's
it
the
the other
main-
day. It looks great.
Huh?
You looked at it the other day. It looks great.
Yeah, Xavier's the main Discord person. I do try to respond as often as I can to the one with the hentai, because obviously I'm in charge of that one. But yeah, When I Get Bigger, this story is about two childhood friends and a boy and a girl, and they say, when I grow up, we're going to marry each other. And the boy is the one that's shorter than the girl, and he's telling the girl, I'm going to grow big up, I'm going to be big, I'm going to be strong. And when I'm big and I'm strong, I'm going to marry you. And then they get older, and the girl's like 6'2", and the guy's like 5'2". And then he's like, I didn't keep my promise, I'm supposed to be like a real man. And the girl's like, hey.
I don't want to say this because I'm afraid it might sound prejudiced, but what a culturally Japanese thing to do to apologize for something just way out of your control.
I mean, they just kind of do that.
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen
what I'm
them do it
saying. It's
before.
a
I know what you're
cultural
talking
thing.
about,
Okay, good. But
Continue. I'm sorry, I
he
completely
may
cut
not
you off.
have gotten big and strong, but his penis did.
Oh, yes. That is part of the story, yeah. So the girl, being much taller than him, she's like, we promised that we were going to marry each other one day, but you've made no moves on me, so now I'm going to start making the moves on you. And then she takes off his pants, and like, you've definitely grown one way. And then they have sex with each other, and then they're like, you know what? The guy ends up saying, when I grow up as a man, rather than literally growing taller, I'm going to marry you. And then that last panel is them
Yeah,
Get
in their
married.
wedding outfits.
Now, when I first read this originally, I was thinking that maybe this was a reflection that a lot of like Japanese males might be insecure about their height.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because their average height is lower than most of the world.
Do you think maybe Methonium?
It's telling men, it's like, it's okay.
Well, no. I almost feel like a part of her work is trying to help people accept themselves a little bit.
Yeah, because in this one, it's not the woman who's insecure about her body. If anything, she's completely fine with it. It's the guy who's insecure about his body due to his small height.
Yeah, she's fine with being bigger.
You know, it's interesting
Once
because
again,
when it's put together in a tankobun like this, you get to see these
elements
themes.
that
Yeah,
pop up
they
in
kind of
author's
talk
work.
to each other. And I feel like we're the only people that notice it because I don't think anybody else dissects porn. Like
I mean, well, obviously Yusuf and Daryl.
Yeah, I'm sure fans of the work are just like, yes.
This is why I like this.
I've never seen an intellectual scholarly discussion of porn.
Oh, you haven't been looking at the Discord.
You're absolutely
Well, that is
right.
guys in general.
Or forums.
Oh, being
I mean-
insecure about height.
Yeah, I've known some guys that are insecure about their height.
But then you also see things like that some girls say specific or a lot in
Like
like
on Tinder
dating
profiles,
websites where it's like
Nobody
oh,
under 6'2" apply.
yeah, that's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's a pretty gross thing to say.
It's
to
like, you
people.
can lose weight. I can't get taller. That's a little bitchy.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of it where the guys turn it around by asking them what their weight is.
It's like, well, it's like, why does that matter? It's like,
Why does my height matter?
what really matters is the size of his penis. That's all that matters.
Now, if that's above 6'2", I get it.
No.
Very few things
No.
give me reference to.
No, it's 6 inches and then 2 inches diameter.
I feel like
That's
still
incredibly
too
thin.
big. Wait, diameter.
The
I thought,
diameter is
I
2
thought-
inches. That's tiny. You literally got a pencil penis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daryl said very few things give reverence to men for being small.
Did you try to say maybe like radius? Like 2?
Wait. Diameter?
Did you mean
Fuck me.
circumference?
This is
Yeah.
okay.
No,
I didn't pay
diameter.
attention.
Okay, diameter. Oh, I thought you were talking about
Wait,
circumference.
what?
Oh, no,
I'm
circumference
getting
is-
confused.
Diameter's
Okay,
across.
yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah, 2 inches diameter is like
An inch is about
That's a
your
thick
thumb.
penis.
that is a hoagie right there.
In relation to what
Should've heard.
Daryl said,
I'm
that's
sorry.
Don't put it in your butt.
It is my job to keep this thing back on track.
It's like herding cats a little bit, isn't it?
Yes,
This is what storytelling is like.
Walking across again.
But in relation to what Daryl said, Methonium is one of the few artists where smaller men are seen as physically attractive without them necessarily being a shota.
Hentai Math Club.
Oh.
No, true story.
Yeah, there's a reason this is the literature club and not the math club. Or else we'd be talking about like the globular physical properties of these women's breasts and how it doesn't line up with the actual physical reality.
You know what? That actually sounds like it could make for an interesting conversation.
What's her diameter?
This is caffeinated conquest, not because science. I don't know if we have the ability to do that. Although, if you forward this to because science, it's kind of funny.
Perhaps we can do a collaboration.
I don't think Geek and Sundry wants to talk to us.
I don't know why.
One day.
What do you think about that? That Methonium as an author, knowing she's a female author, has a celebration for smaller men. There's also something that comes up is men in these stories have different body types. Normally, a lot of men have very standard milquetoast, almost non-existent body types in hentai stories. You have guys that are muscular, like in the first one, cafe latte lovers. The guy, they make fun of the guy for being a little chubby. This one, the guy's small, and then you have the boxing one where the guy's ripped.
That guy was super defined. I'm like, holy shit.
This is the last one I read, so from all out here, it's completely new to me.
She's not picky.
But yeah, I there's a lot of Methonian like working through body issues with her characters, and
I think it adds to the vanilla.
Oh, it adds to the vanilla aspect of the
Yeah.
story? In what way would you say it does?
Just like, it's like, oh, they got over this.
No.
Good job.
Yeah, I picked Methonium because
It's a happy fap.
yeah, as Yusuf described in the
a
Discord.
Fappy.
As Yusuf described in the Discord, Methonium's works are pretty wholesome as far as hentai goes. Meme50 is another really popular hentai artist that I also considered doing for this episode. Meme50 also draws really thick women like we see here. Meme50 is also the one that you guys hated, I believe, because Meme50 is the one that wrote the story with the Gyaru girl forcing her sister's boyfriend to cheat on her.
Oh yeah.
I think that was
It
Meme50.
wasn't really forcing.
It's simply.
I didn't hate that.
preference
I
and
was like,
culture,
you're
though
kinda
I do agree
shitty.
I do agree to have a hard line a feature, especially height seems a little shallow.
Yeah, Meme50 doesn't always have such nice, wholesome sounding. Oh yeah, We're All in Heat is pretty incredible. Hello, Silver Dog Matt. What's good? What's good is hentai right now.
Silver Dog Matt, how's it going?
Hello.
Been a while. Well, we're glad that you can be here. Yeah, I know the story Yusuf is talking about. We're All in Heat. Yeah, but Meme50 stories also don't end as vanilla as these. Like this story, Once I Get Bigger, also had femdom as a tag. However, it's pretty soft femdom in the fact that it's just the girl kind of taking control of a sexual situation with the guy, like where you see that panel right there where she's kind of dominating him with her body.
Wait, hold on. What's good, X? Been a while. I worked with Xavier.
Oh. Okay, when you say you worked with me, what do you mean?
Was it in porn?
No.
Was it because he mostly did solo things?
Yes, absolutely.
Solo work.
I mean, I don't know how you knew me before, but this is part of what I actually do.
This is Xavier's real job, which is why I should donate to the Patreon, so he can do it more often. Live on stream. Well, we have to go to a different website to stream that.
Pornhub. Ooh.
I noticed that she.
I sent drugs to your
I sent
house.
her drugs to your
Oh,
Evil.
hello, Matthew. Well, we're doing this. Talking about porn.
Did he find out about this through Tom?
No, I think this was me. But
Oh, okay.
talking about hentai. This is not the thing that the other part of the channel is, but I enjoy
But this is his favorite part.
Yes, I get to talk about all the porn I read without sounding like a weirdo.
I mean, you still sound like a weirdo. It's just accepted here. You're among the right kind of weirdos.
Come
Comes
so
up-
far in so little time.
Yeah.
So what do you all think about the aspect of something I notice a lot is that in Methonium's work you actually get foreplay, which is something you said doesn't happen a lot.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Do you
Like
think?
in the first one, they just kind of whipped their tits out and went.
But in a lot of in a lot of Methonium's work, I see guys eating girls out happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in that one, Methonium likes to draw that scene right there that you see where it's face sitting is what's happening.
Which she's surprised he's putting his mouth on her vagina, but like you're putting your vagina right on his face. What do you expect is gonna happen?
I feel like that's a scene Methonium likes drawing. I don't.
Is this considered
Facing.
Gyaru if that's her like natural?
If that's her natural,
color?
it still is because she's got the dark skin and the
Light hair.
Light hair, yeah.
Like, I think it's a deliberate stylistic choice.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Gyaru seems to be the other tag Methonium likes drawing a lot of.
Oh, I guess Matthew's out.
He's just like, I don't know if I want to be here for that. That's fair.
You know you're going to get shit for this to work.
No. He said he used to work. He doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, okay.
Anai, when she was reading this, pointed out that she laughed at that part where the girl says she's gotten good at giving head because she's been studying porno magazines.
Which is not how you should learn how to have sex.
I mean, if you're going to have sex with the guy, yeah.
You gotta take some notes.
Just like, she's doing what? Oh, she's doing all the things from my favorite porno mag. This is great.
Yeah, I think I'd rather people take lessons from porno magazines and Cosmo magazines.
Or from, like, their family.
But what about Bop It?
No, don't bop penises.
Twist it.
Yeah. Oh no, Daryl's absolutely right that it's more dark skin rather than gal because gal is more of a cultural mindset like hipsters. Yeah. Dark skin, I feel like in hentai though, typically has the gal look even if the person isn't acting like a gal.
I don't know. There was that one, what was it, Girls for M or something, where she actually had dark hair.
Oh yeah, where she had the dark hair and the dark skin.
Like,
I'm
I
not
feel
saying
like
it
if you
always
do
happens.
dark, I'm not saying it's like it has to be, but I feel like that if an artist does dark skin and blonde hair, that they're deliberately making the choice to at least echo that style.
Well, it's either they're echoing the idea of gal style and gal personalities as like a quick signifier with a dark skin and blonde hair, or they're signifying that the character is a foreigner.
Mm.
Because a lot of times they indicate quickly that the character is from a foreign culture by giving them dark skin.
I find it. I also wonder if they just enjoy drawing it because they enjoy drawing it because it's a very interesting stylistic choice. It creates an interesting contrast. She looks so much different than 90% of other manga characters, and it is nice to look at aesthetically. It is aesthetically pleasing. That is the smart words I'm looking for.
It's nice to look at for later.
Did you all like that happy ending at the end where you actually see them married?
I
Yeah,
did. I
that
was
was-
like, oh
that
my
was nice.
god.
She's still bigger than him. She also throughout the entire thing, she's pretty childlike.
Mm-hmm.
Even though her
She's a
body is
giant.
very mature.
Oh yeah, her body's very mature, but she's just like, yeah, sex.
Yeah. I imagine her having like a super high tone voice, like, oh my god, yes! Sex!
Yeah, right?
I actually had a classmate in high school who had a voice like that, and it wasn't something she purposely did.
Oh my god, Josh, would this be a little annoying though?
No, I don't think. Not if that was how you actually talked.
Yeah.
I think if you're friends with somebody, you get used to it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, people made fun of her because they assumed she was purposely talking like that to get boys to notice her. I just remember having a sad conversation with her one day where she's like, this is just how I actually sound. And people think I'm dumb or they think I'm putting on an act.
Pobrecita. Oh.
My crocodile.
I don't know the word, but a common design trope is dark skin and red hair. Honestly, look back on... Oh, yeah. You noticed
Bowsette.
that with the... Yeah, Bowsette. The alternate skin for Bowsette is the red hair and dark skin.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Gerudos.
Oh.
Gerudos have the dark skin, red hair.
It's Gerudo, you heathen. You know what? Have I ever heard that word pronounced out loud? I might have just been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, and you could be 100% right. My life might have been a lie ever since I was 8.
More young than child to me. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, we also kind of discussed in this story, though, when I get bigger, that it's the guy that goes through a change and that he realizes it's more important for him to become mature as a person than physically bigger.
Yeah.
What did you all think about that sort of thematic aspect that is in
I
the story?
did not pick that up at all. I gotta be honest with
I
you.
felt like it was all very heartwarming. It was all about... They were all about accepting yourself one way or another. So, it was cute.
yeah.
I don't know if that's what I'm here for.
Well,
Like I said, this was a tankoubun that didn't make me feel bad for reading
Yeah,
it.
it
So
was great.
thank you for the vacation, Josh. You fucking monster.
no, I didn't get to finish saying this earlier. I picked this one because it's nice. Some of the other artists I'd like to look at, you're gonna hate me for showing.
So what's happening is you're starting out being nice, and then you're gonna ruin our lives.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the
IRL
That's the wrong
and TR.
order. It's the wrong order. Remember, it's Grave of the Fireflies, and then My Neighbor Totoro.
Well, yeah. NTR.
What the fuck?
Well, no, it starts off nice, and then we get to the sadomasochism part. And then
Oh,
there's
I
gonna-
meant I was gonna bang him. I don't know if that came across.
Yeah, like you did a big circle. you didn't
But
do
then
this.
there
Yeah,
will
no,
be
I don't-
aftercare
I'm sure.
afterwards.
Okay.
Ow.
Aftercare afterwards.
Yes.
I'm sorry, there's a conversation going on. What?
No, I said I'm starting it off nice, and then it's gonna get to the S&M whipping part, and then I said, but there will be aftercare.
And then the pegging and the shit eating, the piss drinking.
I mean, you're the one that
I'm not in
suggested.
for this.
I'm
not
okay.
in for this.
I am the guy during Monster Girl Month that said, let's do the rabbit hole. So
And it didn't get that weird.
Yeah. Well, Daryl said it's a more responsible outlook, which is odd for porn. It is kind of odd,
Yep.
and I wonder if that's influenced at all by the author being not a guy.
Yeah, we gotta have nice endings here.
Although I don't always like to attribute things because somebody's a man or a woman or whatever gender or sex they identify as. Although I do wonder if that plays a part.
I feel like it does sometimes.
So the next story we have is Simmering Bed Situation, which this one also has most of these have a pretty simple plot, but in this one, it's these high school sweethearts that are starting to date each other, and they live together now, and sometimes they sleep in the same bed, sometimes they don't, and the reason the guy doesn't want to sleep in the same bed as the girl is, oh, please no scat. No, don't worry, I don't know if there's going to be any scat, actually. I hope not.
Oh my god.
Oh, just a little bit of poo poo.
What's that?
Scat is poo poo.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Poop and piss play, basically. Yeah, in this story, the guy doesn't want to sleep with his girlfriend because she is extremely, literally hot in bed, and the fact that he starts sweating when he has to sleep next to her because she's basically a living heater. Anna, you can relate to this in that I am also a living heater.
So is Charlie.
I've heard similar. Yes.
That girl is nice to me. You was awesome genetics. Nothing went to the wrong place.
No.
uh,
That story's about to come out.
was there anything in this one that was particularly about like acceptance, or just like it was like, oh, you're too hot?
Yeah.
That's kind of. I mean, the sweating is kind of a body issue, also.
Well, she's not insecure.
She-
Nobody's
yeah, she's
insecure
not
about the
insecure.
sweating in this one.
Yeah, it's just like Jesus Christ. Holy crap, woman! You're like 100 degrees.
I think it was just wholesome because they.
Oh, I
loved
do have
each
to.
other.
Sorry, I do have to point out that again, like I said, I stopped reading
Yeah.
here. So anything I say here is 100% grain of salt.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just take off their clothes if they're so hot.
That's what I thought when the guy's sitting in bed next
Well,
to her.
I think they're gonna, Xavier.
He's just sitting there in full
Yeah,
flannel pajamas, and he's like, God, it's so hot. I'm like, take off your clothes.
But
You're
they're
wearing
both
long
wearing.
sleeves.
They're
See-
both wearing like what I.
I
would
mean, it
think
also
are
doesn't
winter
help that she's
pajamas.
like clinging to him like
Yeah.
really hard that she like won't let go.
well, see that wouldn't be so bad if he just like took off his shirt or something.
Yeah, it's like,
But I don't know. Maybe they're in a place that's pretty cold usually.
I take it we don't want Fitz to eat this.
Yeah, he was
I
chewing.
mean, it's a stick. I don't think he'll eat it.
Here you go, Fitz.
He's not that.
He's
heavy,
been
but-
chewing on it though really hard.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
He needs 5 branch diet.
yeah, and this one, the main issue is that the guy is just, he thinks his girlfriend is the perfect partner. The only thing he has to deal with is the fact that she's so hot in bed.
So
And then-
physically hot.
Yeah, she's physically
Well,
hot.
temperature wise, I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
about to be a different.
I mean,
hot.
she's also not terribly unattractive. It's just
No,
that
no.
I can understand how that would be a pain in the ass, just like. Because I can't sleep when it's below a certain temperature. And I've never been. Okay, there's been a couple times where it's been too hot and I have to just like take off my clothes.
I do think
But
it-
that's what I do. I take off my clothes.
Yeah, like if it's too hot to sleep, you take your clothes off, and then they at least don't have the blanket on.
But if you sleep without any clothes on, what's gonna happen if there's like a murderer in the house or
Then
like
you're
a
gonna
fire
fight them
breaks
naked.
out?
Yeah. What are they gonna do? Fight me?
You know, that's a good point. Like if a murderer comes in and you're naked, Like, they picked the wrong fucking house.
Yeah, you got like a whole wall of dildos.
Or they're just gonna be in my
in
house.
a row
Or they're
across like circling your bed so that
I
they
feel
know.
like I should have a wall of dildos or like a fence made out of dildos to just
No,
scare off
no.
anybody
You remember
that
that
might
old
break in.
Nerf gun in the 90s that was just a Gatling gun? Just
dildos. That might be
just a
what
guy
it
comes in, you just look at him.
In this story, though, I would say there is some element of acceptance in that it's the guy who has to come to accept his partner fully for what she is, and it's a very minor thing he has to learn to cope with.
It's just
and
like
that's her body heat.
I have to wear less clothes when I go to sleep.
That's such a problem.
But there is a plot. There's an issue, and then they resolve the issue.
Yeah.
Which
Through
is more than I
sex.
can say for a lot of the things we've read.
No, I'd say those women get over their issues. I mean, as long as they have a penis inside them.
Severin Wintermute is asking, what temperature do we sleep at?
Severian Wintermute, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, they are also a heater, and so they keep it at about 64 degrees room thermostat.
I cannot sleep below like 65 because then my body temperature changes. People's body temperature changes when they go to sleep, and so I'll get warm, and then it'll be like, oh, it's cold. I'm like, I know it's cold. Let me go back to sleep.
You know, that's interesting. I honestly have no fucking idea because the insulation in our bedroom is completely fucked up.
Yeah, like,
So it's always way hotter in our bedroom than the rest of the place. But I'll tell you what,
No, it's okay.
you never went to my my mother's house in, was it Tornillo? I think it might have been either Tornillo or San Elizario. Basically, fucking third world country part of El Paso. I hate that fucking town. Anyway, yeah, she had a place there. It was just constantly fucking hot. Like 100 degrees inside in the desert, nothing green around. Just, it is San Elizario is literally a plateau upon which to elevate a town so that God can properly give it the middle finger. I hate that place. So, better than that, but it's hot as fuck.
No, I also usually keep around 64, 65.
I like it to be colder instead of hotter. Like I would.
yeah, I like
You
it
can
to
burn in hell.
Well, no, like the reason why I like it to be colder is because then I can use the blanket. Because if it's hot,
Yeah.
then I'm just dying.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to wear things?
I think it's because your
Well,
body
no.
gets used to having the blanket.
Yeah, it does.
Because if
That's
I
the
don't
thing.
have a blanket, then it feels like a monster's gonna eat me.
Well, you know, it's also, I
I
noticed...
just feel uncomfortable. For some reason, I just feel uncomfortable when I don't have a blanket because I'm so used to it.
It's it's the weight. There's like
Yeah.
a security that's like
So, like,
bred into us from
I
childhood.
feel like better when I have a blanket. So yeah, I'm gonna prefer it to be a little colder because if it's hot, I'm dying. I don't like the heat.
I hate having a blanket. Every time it's just like, can I do without this blanket? Nope, too cold.
You are so avant-garde. Like there's people, and then there's Xavier, the counter person.
If a murderer breaks in, I have to get through 3 fucking layers of blankets to get my knives.
Xavier, I've known you long enough to know that you don't. There's no 3 layers of fabric at any time between you and a weapon.
You don't need a. We're not talking about. Like,
There's not
heavy
3 layers
blanket.
of fabric between you and a weapon right now. It's in your underwear, isn't it?
That's my hidden
Severin
belief.
said they also have to have the blanket, but a
Yeah.
light one. Something else that I noticed in this story is like a lot of times that whole "oh God, his dick smells." It's such a strong smell.
That's so
that's
weird.
Yeah, it's a trope in this, and it comes up here when she pulls his penis out, and she's like, "Oh, it has like such a strong smell," and he's like, "Well, that's because somebody made me sweat so much." But in this one, it's not gross. Usually they draw the dick like it looks like it smells, and they have smegma.
Yeah, it's got.
No, all of these penises are really pretty.
Well, yeah, it's the idealized. It's an idealized penis from a woman's perspective.
It's so shiny.
Because it's not gross looking at all.
Yeah, there's some male artists draw penises where they're like, yeah, they look like a shonen protagonist when they're like on their 5th power level and that there's veins bulging out and everything, and it looks like
Just
it's flexing.
aura radiating around the
Yeah,
top.
I'm not even kidding at that point.
There's like veins all over the place.
The pubic hair is blonde and spiky.
There's veins on it where it doesn't look like a child penis, but then it's not too much where it looks
It's soft.
like
It's soft and bulbous. That's what.
Hashtag soft and bulbous. Hentai Literature Club.
It's so smooth.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting that even when Methonium gets into that kind of fetishy territory, like with the femdom in the last story, it's not overwhelming to the point where It's like, oh, well, look, I'm gonna duck out at this point, kind of thing, where you get to with some stories.
Yeah.
It's like a light kind of fetishism in it. It's like there's like a amount of femdom in the last story, where I think people who don't like femdom can still appreciate the story.
Can get behind it.
Where it's not getting to the point where the guy's getting pegged while a glass rod's getting shoved down his urethra, kind of stuff.
You know, when if hopefully whenever we get around to interviewing the mangaka, we've got to put Methonium on the list. I want to know about a lot of the philosophy behind her work, and I swear to God, if it's just I'm going to be so disappointed.
It's kind of funny because that's just how some people are who make things where they're like, well, where'd you get the meaning in this? And it's like, I just kind of made it.
Yeah.
Which would be super disappointing, you know, if this is used in the future. Just like, what do you think the artist meant by this? It's like, well, they just wanted to draw it.
Like, why were the curtains blue? Was it because of the feeling of darkness they were feeling inside?
It's like, no, I just like blue.
I like blue, yeah. I like that.
It's a nice color.
Yeah, here's another ripped male partner. Well, he's not ripped, but he's got some muscle on him.
He's toned.
Yeah, they get progressively more athletic.
He works out.
It's gonna rule when you guys find out it's focus grouped. That would be funny.
Oh, my chat stopped working. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so this one this story just kind of has like a light element of learning how to appreciate your partner even when there's something that
even when
you don't like.
Even when there's a minor annoyance, like, it's too fucking hot.
When you're in full form.
Well, there's also two things. He says, now that I think about it, there wasn't just one problem. Once she gets turned on, she doesn't stop. And the guy's still having sex with his girlfriend, but he's tired enough where he feels like he's going to die.
You know what? I've been at that point. It's still kind of fun. There was one point a couple months ago where you like really wanted it, and I was dead fucking tired, like literally dead fucking tired. Like I am going to crumble to ash if I do it. Oh well, can't stop, won't stop. I did not regret that decision.
You got over it. It's alright. You're fine. You're here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You didn't have a heart attack.
I mean, sometimes when you feel like you can't do it, all you got to do is eat something. But anyways, this story is called Nice to Meet You, where the meat is MEAT. And it has a sequel chapter next to it called Just Meat to You.
Do you think that had more than one meaning?
I think it's like the...
Like the fact that she's thick and also the...
Meat.
Yeah, well, I think the Just Meat to You also has the idea that he only sees her as a sex object when it's not necessarily true in the story.
Yeah.
Because she still feels... In the second... Just to summarize this one real quick, Nice to Meet You is about... a guy goes to a high school reunion and one of his classmates doesn't make it. And he has like some souvenirs for everybody in the class that they're supposed to take home. So he's volunteered to take this to this classmate he used to have a crush on because she didn't show up to the reunion. And so what happens is he goes, she doesn't want to open the door, and then he's like, well, there's cake in here. If you want to eat it, you should take it.
And she bursts out of her door for cake, which is a
Yeah.
correct response.
Yeah, and she's like,
that's
oh.
everyone.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, I didn't go because I don't want anybody to see me because I put on so much weight because I eat all the extra food at work. And then she's like, I bet you think I'm gross. He's like, no, if anything, I'm more attracted to you now. I like the way your body looks.
Get over here, Tommy.
Yusuf puts ... Why the ... Yusuf?
No, it's unzips dick, ... rezips dick.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. I'm also missing part of the chat
Yeah.
here.
Oh, it's because you guys have top chat and not live chat.
Oh.
Wrong one.
Who else have we missed?
I didn't
Yeah,
know
right.
that.
What am I missing from my life?
I was just been like, this seems a little odd. Let me check it on my phone.
Whoa.
6111 prod. I didn't even know you were here. Hello. You do need friends like this. We'll be your friends.
Oh my
like
god,
this.
I'm missing so much. Just fucking punch him as hard as you can.
Who decides what top chat is?
The goddamn algorithm.
Yeah.
You're
I'm sorry,
scaring the
Fitz.
cat.
I'm
Jesus
sorry,
Christ.
Fitz.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
Daryl said no meat is a Japanese term for thick. I also I was gonna point that out when I was done summarizing the story.
I have seen Haganai. I know what
Yeah.
meat stands for.
Yeah, they use meat to a term to refer to a voluptuously bodied women.
I thought it was for both reasons.
Yeah, I also think there is that kind of like, oh, you're meaty, like a piece of meat kind of thing that's there.
Well, no, also just dick, because a lot of people refer to dick as meat.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Yeah, so the guy goes and he ends up confessing his feelings to this girl that he hasn't seen in a long time. And she's like, well, I had feelings for you too back then. And she's like, well, if you like me this way, that's fine. Needs music.
It needs music. Yeah, play my songs.
You just play that one fucking Vocaloid compilation, just on a loop over and over for 2 hours.
Yeah, I'll see about getting some music for next time.
Hey, in Compotech, dude, that's what I use. I don't immediately know how you would do that because I use Roll20.
Oh, there's an import media thing in here.
Oh, well, fuck. You already know how to use this better than I do. I quit.
Yeah, so they end up having sex and they end up starting a relationship, and that's a sequel, Just Meet to You story. And in that one, the guy has to go on a business trip, and she's like, well, while you're away, I'm going to lose weight. And I'm going to be super sexy when you get back. The guy gets back, she failed the diet.
And she was.
Yeah, and then
she
she's
was
like,
sexy all along.
yeah, and the guy's like, well, I really don't care if you lose weight because I think you're sexy how you are now. And then he's kind of groping her at the end, and she's like, well, she's still kind of insecure with herself and still resolving
Yeah, I
to
think
lose
she's
weight.
fine with the sex, but she's like, I don't like you playing with my belly.
He's weirdly into that. Like, he just keeps grabbing her belly, which I personally would not enjoy. I
There
would
are
smack the crap out of you.
some guys that just...
Just like, yes, I love this feeling. I love feeling everything.
Well, it's like, what was that one Randy Sensei meme?
Oh.
I like big women because no matter where you grab them, it feels like titties.
We'll get to Randy Sensei one day, guys.
that requires an explanation or no explanation.
Randy Sensei will happen when Randy Sensei happens. Yeah, what did you all think about this story? Or for those of you that read it?
I read it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I read it. I liked it. I thought it was cute because I understand the feels. Like, I feel like I am really chubby, and I don't like that feeling.
I feel like the second chapter was a little bit unnecessary because it was basically the same thing, just with swimsuits.
No.
Yeah.
Gotta add more.
I think that she wrote this and she's like, damn it, I forgot a swimsuit. Wrote another one.
You know what? I take exception to that. There is no such thing as unnecessary titties. Maybe back titties. Maybe back titties are unnecessary.
Like I said, her body used the fat well because she does gain more weight, but mainly goes to her breast and ass. It does. It doesn't really go to her belly.
She said she lost, or she started losing weight, and she's just like, but I was so lonely. And then so she like comfort ate, then gained the weight back.
Which in real life, one of the first places where you lose weight is your boobs.
Raven is tubby, or you mean...
I assume he means me.
And the moon is genuinely cheese. Come on now.
Okay, so he's saying that you're not.
Okay, I didn't understand that. I was like, what?
It's okay. She doesn't listen when you say that to her.
I didn't like that they kept referencing her diet. Like okay, I get it.
I also think
I get it. You're trying to lose weight.
I get it.
Just don't.
That's how I felt when I read Excel World, from the same guy who did Sword Art Online.
Oh, I remember Excel.
Yeah, Excel World. He references so often how much the main protagonist is sweaty. And the second book, I dropped the series because I'm so fucking sick of reading this. Also, it's Reki Kawahara, and he's a terrible author. You should not support him.
What's wrong with him?
He's just a bad writer.
Oh,
Like, if you've seen Sword Art Online past the first season, you know why he's a bad writer.
I've never seen Sword Art Online.
Don't waste your time.
It's like I always say every time it comes up. I love Dot.
I only saw the first season.
Oh yeah, she does gain weight.
Plus, I reject any black swordsman
who's not guts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that does happen. They kind of, I think they draw it more than they say it. In the second chapter, she gains more weight than she had before. Like she's drawn.
I don't know.
It's not that noticeable. Though.
Yeah,
it's more in her tits.
I don't know. I don't know if the artist actually drew her with more weight though.
Yeah, well, you look her like I guess you kind of compare her body to that panel, which is the beginning of the chapter, and then here I feel like she's drawn. In her breast. And then that one, it just that panel right there. It seems like she is meatier than the beginning of the.
That one is, judging by the shape of her thighs, and it does definitely look like it was drawn deliberately for that.
You know, our thighs splay out a little bit too when they're squished, right?
Yes.
That just happens.
Why did that make you sensitive when I said
No,
that?
I know. I'm just saying.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I legitimately want to know why that.
No.
made you
I'm being
self-conscious.
serious. Like we just do that. Like everyone does that.
I'm just the way the lines are, the way it is shaded, the way it is bulbousy. To me, when I look at that, I have to imagine that the artist deliberately wanted to showcase that, especially with the angle. Let's turn this way. We need Tom. Son of a bitch! Somebody pay that guy so he can sit around and talk about porn with us all day. I need someone classically trained in art to discuss the shit with.
All right, you guys got it. You heard him. We need money. If you want Tom, you got to pay. He's a premium.
Tom's DLC.
Yeah, he's actually a canvas bag. He's not a nylon bag.
Well, so you forget that I used to draw too. It's just, I guess it was to show that she gained more weight, but it also just does that.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying anything negative about your drawing style.
He just would rather have Tom here.
Well, okay. I mean, it's not like
He
it's
just
not that
misses Tom.
the way Josh is classically trained in literature, Tom is classically trained in art. And I find his perspectives when it comes to that really fascinating. And we've only had him once on the show, and that's fucking frustrating. Which one was that? We had Tom on?
Tentacles.
Tentacles? Oh, as you do. You know who we didn't have on Tentacles?
Yeah, and I was sick.
Rufo.
We did not have Rufo on Tentacles. Rufo, I'm sorry. You missed the Tentacles, buddy.
What do I think about that fascination that the male protagonist kind of has with her
stomach?
chubbiness and her stomach?
Where he's like touching her stomach even though he doesn't realize
He's really into like curvy chicks.
He's just like, I just love grabbing her.
He's kind of creepy about it.
But it's okay, because she gets penis.
And he does it like this too.
See, you didn't want to do an ahe gal face because you thought we'd give you shit about it. Little did you know, we'll give you shit about anything.
I prefer this over doing an ahe gal.
I guess this is kind of respect.
If you've seen the Discord, you've seen what Daystra's been photoshopping.
Daystra is a fucking hero, man.
Oh, I love it.
It's stuff like that. That's just, you care enough about us to stick one of our faces on a fucking meme. That is so cool.
I'm gonna go look now.
You already saw it. It's the one with
Just
Xavier
that one? Okay.
and
Oh, it's just that one, yeah.
I thought maybe they've done more.
He really wants me
I mean,
to
he
draw a
did do one
picture of you
before that.
guys.
Ooh, Daystra?
Yeah.
Do it. It'd be funny.
He really wants me to draw Yowie.
Do it.
I think it'd be even funnier if it came out slightly fucked up.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to make it all messed up. Classical art does gel with anime culture-wise.
Well, it's because anime is classical art. It stems from ukiyo. Is that it? Did I say that right?
I think it's ukiyo-e.
Ukiyo-e.
It's common trope for Japanese and a bit with Western audiences to play with the stomach for chubbier girls.
Yeah, I definitely think there's that sensual aspect to it.
Wait, what?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before this one. And I've watched a lot of hentai and porn, but you know.
Xavier, did you expect the second chapter to go NTR when the guy went on a business trip?
Not with this artist. I was.
You were like you were going through it like, no, she's too wholesome for this, and you were like,
Yeah,
oh,
just
thank
like
God.
just like extended business trip. It's just like, if this was another artist, it might have.
It would have been killed for you.
Just like, oh no, I know where this is going.
Her stories
Again.
also aren't really fantastical with the situations.
Yeah.
Tiger
They're pretty
print
grounded.
bikini.
Maybe she
It's
just
probably
likes.
just to be quiet.
Maybe she just likes.
She likes
what's it called?
tigers.
Animal print. I mean, she very well might. I'm wondering, is that indicative of something?
Daryl also said, also for being part of a lot of BBW models, that is very common.
Well, I think he said something about her being sexier, and a lot of guys like women in animal prints, and also like a lot of women dressed up as kittens or some type of jungle cat or something. I don't know if I said
Really? I hadn't noticed.
Something, I don't know if you all have picked up on it, but Methonium likes to do those shoujo backgrounds with the flowers.
Just the flowers, yeah.
I did not notice the fucking flowers.
Or on High School Host Club.
I feel like, you ever see that meme?
No.
You ever see that meme that's like gay test? With the chick with her honkers out, and it's like if you notice the guy in the background.
Oh.
I did not see the flowers.
That's something I noticed because I read it 3 times. But yeah, I noticed a lot of times in the background she draws. It's very stereotypical of shoujo manga to do the flowers in the background for characters during like romantic or sexy kind of moments. And I thought that was interesting. Methonium being a female artist did the shoujo thing of putting the flowers in the background.
Aesthetics.
I mean, it fills the space. It's more visually interesting to look at than just a white background behind her.
Well, also, is this in her head or is this in reality? Like, is this when she's fantasizing about losing?
Well, that's when
weight?
he's fantasizing,
He's fantasizing about her.
Oh.
But I think in the next story it also happens. But yeah, this story also continues the theme of just accepting your body for what it is and
It seems
having
like
a
she
partner.
got thinner while they were having sex.
Oh yeah, he
That's
tells her that
true.
they're working out.
It's
Yay,
not.
angles.
It's not like what's it called? She fluctuates, but I think it's just the drawing. It
Yeah.
fluctuates.
Also, it's just I think if she stayed the same from the one where she has her thighs split, that would have been she would have been very difficult to pick up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's a an average dude who can probably lift her, but like, goddamn.
Willpower.
What do you think about that kind of ending where she's saying for him to come inside so they can have a baby? That's obviously a very common hentai thing, but I feel like her stories actually would end in somebody having a child.
I mean, yeah, look at
Yeah.
she's
one
already
of them
ready
ended
for
with
one.
marriage.
Yeah.
And he's still playing with her belly.
This is I feel like if this was Shakespeare, this was all comedies.
I was about to say that, and that she writes comedies from a Shakespearean sense, and that they end in
Marriage.
relationships and marriage.
Yeah.
Can you explain that analysis for
Possibly
the dumb
less
people in the
NTUs.
back?
In Shakespearean literature, not just Shakespeare, but also like plays and stuff written during the Elizabethan era, a comedy often ended with a marriage.
Or multiple marriages.
Yeah, multiple marriages. Like if you've read Twelfth Night, is that the one with the fairies?
Yes.
Yeah, that one ends in like 3 or 4 couples getting married at the same time. But it's like one way it's used is to reinforce social norms. You could argue that that also applies here, and that the social norm of marriage and relationship is enforced. Because sometimes like people can have sex and there's no relationship afterwards. They have sex, they end up in a relationship, they end up married or wanting to have children.
That's true.
It's a reinforcement of social norms.
Has there been one yet where a relationship like wasn't a thing?
Not in Methonium stories, I don't think so.
It's either been pre-established or.
I
Yeah,
think
they're either in a relationship or the relationship forms halfway through or by the end.
Yeah.
So this is one of the next story is one of the ones that Xavier picked, and this one is Night Champion. So Xavier, why don't you kind of?
Oh my god! If this is not a superhero story,
it's close. It's
very
It's great.
close. So
it's a shonen sports story.
I was drawn to it because of the name first. I'm just like, okay, what is this about? And then I saw your description of it. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go with this one. And so this guy is a boxer, right? And he's a pretty good boxer.
Yeah, he takes the lightweight champion.
Yeah, but then he's just so it's the I guess the tone, the narrative tone is a bit shifted to be like a battle shonen, and that like the only opponent he cannot defeat is his wife. And so even when they're having sex,
it went down.
It went down.
what happened?
Live stream went down.
Oh, we're back up.
Okay.
That was weird.
I was like, oh god, what happened?
Yeah, for those of you who didn't hear, the story, like Xavier was saying, takes on like a battle shonen training arc, in that the main protagonist, after taking the featherweight championship, is training to keep up with his wife at night when they have sex. And it's a pretty consistent part of the story, right? Like it takes up like a third to half of it is him training to beat his wife.
Yeah, and then even
And then the whole sexual act is
even when they're
taken
having
like
sex, he's just like, I'm looking for an opening.
round one.
I gotta
Counter-
fight her off.
I lost round one. It's okay. I'm in it for round two, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that you just do for fun. I have to write my 5th hentai this week. Fuck it. It's just gonna be a sports metaphor. I want to see one where she does a fighter pilot. I'm zeroing in on the target. Bombs away.
I think it's funny because she's actually pretty good at drawing like that intensity he has in his eyes when he's thinking about training, and
just like, I'm gonna train to get better.
And that panel right there at the bottom where he's been defeated by her, and it looks like he has bruises all over him, but then it points out in a little thing in the site that they're kiss marks.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Which that's a
notice the
lot of kiss marks.
I didn't notice the kiss marks.
She was all over.
Like, yeah,
Who
Who
actually,
kisses on the back of the wrist?
And she does. She's the night champion.
Oh.
She's getting him where she can.
You also laughed at that point where she made a bunch of food for him, and he's like, "Oh no, that means it's on tonight." She's trying to make sure I have enough energy.
I thought it was cute and funny and just great, all around great.
Cool Imp said, "DB Supergroup Sex Vegeta versus Goku." So who can satisfy their wife first? I wouldn't be surprised if that was already something that happened. I don't know why. I feel
Or-
like Vegeta would win.
Or no, I feel
Really?
like
I
I
agree.
feel like they would switch.
Okay. I do think in an actual hentai they'd switch.
It's switch. Just be like, who can satisfy the other woman? Who do they prefer?
Wait, no, we're gonna have this conversation
Why
now.
do I think Vegeta would win?
I feel like Chi-Chi is easily satisfied more so than Bulma. Because Bulma has always had a stick up her ass through the entire fucking series.
I just
And
feel
then
like Vegeta's
She
better at
needs
sex.
Vegeta.
you know what? He probably...
Vegeta pays more attention to his family than Goku does.
and
He's probably better at bed because he pays attention to his partner more.
I don't know. I feel like those... like, Goku is a very passionate person. He might be an airhead, but the stuff he cares about, he really cares about. Vegeta is probably the kind of guy that focuses all of the energy and passion he would have for sex into his physical
I
trait.
feel like Vegeta, with
They
Goku
start
would
throwing
be
key
quick
beams at each
and
other.
he'd fall asleep afterwards, and then Vegeta would,
Vegeta's like, this isn't over yet.
Yeah.
I'm the Prince of all Saiyans.
No, because even if he just like, okay, I'm done, Bulma would be like, Goku would have lasted longer. He'd be like, because that is a very easy way to get him to do something.
They'll start throwing key beams at each other. Stamina's important. Maybe it was Vegeta's dick.
Goku
I think we
probably
can all agree on one thing, though. Saiyans use their tails.
Probably.
By the way, can we just appreciate the fact that we just had a Goku versus Vegeta sex contest debate? I love this shit. Capcom is cool.
And now, back to the point. I can
No,
see
I'm
it in
not done
Josh's
about
face.
this. No,
Oh, okay.
no, I'm just kidding.
We're not done.
It's just
Goku
that-
probably has too much CTE to even know what sex is by this point. I mean, he's had 2 kids.
But on another note, where does Broly fall into this? Because if you guys seen the trailers, he can probably take on Chi-Chi and Bulma at the same time with his hands.
Most likely.
Oh, I didn't even think about how fingering would even work in this.
Yeah, their
they'd
hands
be
are gonna get
destroyed.
tired.
The girls would be destroyed.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna come way out of left field. I want to see Hercule in that situation because we know he sucks, but he can't admit to sucking. So what lengths would he go to keep up with Goku, Vegeta, and Broly?
No, don't worry about it, Cool. No, I will end this conversation by saying that in the manga and the anime, you see Vegeta actually try to make Bulma happy about things.
That's true.
That's why I think he'd be better in bed than Goku.
That he does legitimately care. So that's I will give you that. And there's even that one part in GT, which is non-canon, where Bulma says flat out, "I'm Vegeta's princess." So I don't know. I feel like
Vegeta punched or slapped a Beerus.
Oh yeah, for hitting his
Careful, because he's
for hitting his wife.
Yeah.
I remember.
So if you're willing to punch a god,
Okay, are you honestly gonna sit there and tell me Goku wouldn't have done the same?
no, probably not.
You don't think so, really?
No.
I disagree. I don't know. I think Goku would win. I think Vegeta would come close to Goku, and I think he would spend the next arc angsting about
IRL
not being.
Goku wins because Goku is Goku. And
just down
I hate
to the
Akira
point, though,
Toriyama.
I'd rather have sex with Vegeta than Goku.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
Me
it because
too.
he's smaller?
Yeah.
Getting back to Methonium.
If Goku doesn't realize what kissing is, I bet he thinks sex is just cake. I do like what Coolim said. Coolim said that Mr. Satan would get penis implants with the vibration function. He does do that. He tries to cheat with the.
Like he's got a little
Shenzhen.
jetpack for the wang.
Wait, does that imply like Chi-Chi drugged Goku in order for them to have kids because he didn't know what sex was? And she's like, damn it, I'm getting a baby.
That's kind of a good point. I have to wonder how that happened. Akira Toriyama, get back to us on this.
You fucking recluse. Talk to people.
Yeah, back to Methonium. I also like that little panel right there where he's passing out, but his soul's flying out happy.
Yeah, just...
Question.
What?
If Piccolo can regenerate lost limbs, can he regenerate his boner so he can just keep going indefinitely?
Here's the thing.
I don't think that's
they don't
how-
reproduce that way.
Oh, that's right. They split.
Piccolo doesn't have a penis.
Could he grow one?
You'd have to.
If
rip it
so,
off
could
first.
it be permanently hard?
I
No.
don't think he can grow random body parts.
However, we know TN can grow arms.
Wait. Here's something nobody asked. If you do the fusion dance, are you twice as long lasting as a normal person?
Or do
Okay,
you
so
have two
no.
penises?
So I know the answer to this. Right now, as far as any canon goes, when Gogeta until the Broly movie comes out, because it's probably gonna be different. Your power is somewhat additive, and when Vegito, the Potara earrings, your power is multiplicative.
Okay.
So, I don't know how that would translate to your stamina in sex, but you would get more out of Vegito.
But
So far.
But the way this guy does it in the story is by training.
Exactly, dude. Goku's brain is mush. That man has been hit in the
I'm
head far too
trying.
much.
I know.
Dragon Ball Z
I'm
bridge
trying.
No, it's
Get
okay.
over
Daryl wants us to go back. We're gonna go back. I know. You don't have to apologize, Cooler. Yeah. So looking at this panel right here, it's kind of funny because the wife kind of goes along with her husband's fantasy in that she's like, I see an opening, and then she kind of goes for pulling the pants
Yeah,
off.
he goes just like, I'll be the aggressor this time, and she's like, aha, nothing personal, kid. Teleports behind you, takes off your pants.
But I feel like this is being fun while having sex.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, not being too serious about
No,
it.
yeah, I think for
I think
her
it's
it
great.
is she just like,
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna have
having the
sex
time
with
of
you
her
again,
life.
and he's just like, dang it, I'm tired of losing.
If you're too serious, like it's
He's
not. It's
he's the
not fun.
Vegeta right now.
What do you think about that panel right up there where she's talking about how smooth his cock is, and he's like, "You're the one that forcibly shaved it."
Yeah,
Last time.
I don't know how that happens.
That's how she won the last round.
Yeah, well, like, cause okay, it's easier to shave your penis when you have an erection.
You know from experience.
Every guy knows from experience.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to cut their penis.
Yeah, cause okay, look,
Have
okay,
you
so
tried to shave your penis?
See,
Very
exactly,
good.
and that's why I've never shaved with an erection. Like it's never been in the upright position.
you don't get off on the danger.
No,
but it
you
is
just said you've never shaved with an erection. Does that mean you shave multiple times just
without an
the
erection.
yeah, it's never been like locked and loaded when I go near it with a sharp blade.
But to
You're
some
the one who's into
people, that's their
BDSM. No.
to some people, that like shaving somebody else.
That's
Yeah.
a good
Yeah,
point.
that is a kink.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying like I've never done that, and I feel weird being the outlier for that.
Well, cause there's also like a sort of like close shave thing, cause like okay, this is fine right here, but because there's excess skin, I have to do this.
Yeah, you have to. When guys have
So when I'm shaving around my junk, right, I don't want to have to like splay it out to get everything.
You don't want to do the bat wing?
So it's easier to do it with an erection to get around.
I don't know if
The
this
skin's
tangent
better.
is any better than the other tangent.
I'm
but-
enjoying both of them though tremendously. This is why you tune into Capcom. It's a roller coaster. We're not always going to do the thing you tuned in for, but that just makes the thing you tuned in for all the sweeter.
But this guy is super ripped.
Yeah, he's a featherweight champion.
He's just like so defined. And is there like any backstory to how they met up or like?
No, it's just they're already husband and wife at the beginning.
I really like that she's playing with his limp penis.
It's a wiggly.
Which is weird because when you have a wife that hot, I don't imagine you have.
He got caught by surprise.
I mean, yeah, but he should go in there ready. Like, I'm gonna have sex. Gah!
What do you think about that like light femdom aspect to it, where she's the one that made him shave?
No, I don't think she made him. I think she just shaved him. She just like got
She
his
sat on
penis
him and
erect and
pinned
just
him
kind
down.
of.
Yeah, she forcibly shaved it.
What, since you're the one that also picked Aretha's story, Xavier, what about it did you like other than like the silly shonen battle aspect to it?
No, but since you asked, I could definitely see that as adding to his determination. Honestly.
Oh, that she basically beat him and made him shave.
Yeah. Like, I could see that as being somewhat emasculating for him, and therefore needing to, I guess, compensate for that in the future.
That makes me realize that Methonium also doesn't draw a lot of hair. She does draw women with pubic hair. She doesn't draw women with like a big bush of pubic hair though. But I don't think any guy in any of these stories has had like noticeable pubic hair either.
I don't think so either.
And this is like the first time there's a reason for it.
Who the fuck has a hairy penis? Well, you see.
It's not that the penis
It's the
itself is
area
hairy,
around
right?
it.
But it's just like going down from the shaft to the base. There's this little area, right? That's a little difficult to get to, and you don't want to cut yourself, right? Because then you might cut something kind of important. And so the shaft itself is not hairy. I mean, some people might have a hairy shaft. I'm not one of those. But there's like a danger zone around here that's hard to do when you don't have an erection. Anyway, why I like this?
Just fucking move it out of the way.
I can't move my penis out of the way. It's not detachable.
You fucking pick it up and move it.
I don't know what kind of penis you have, but mine is stationary. I can't move it around my body.
He has different adjustments to his penis.
You know, as Xavier's been ranting, more people have been tuning in. Just as another funny aside, that panel break on the page on the right, it says "come" doing the panel break.
Oh shit!
It's so creative.
That's something I noticed. Methonium's pretty good at drawing like in art. I think it's called the line of action, where like action has a motion that goes through people's bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's. I think as an artist, that's something I actually notice about her. Is
I
she
think-
she has an actual.
Also, what is that? She's doing precision thrusting on my pleasure points. What is that?
What do you mean? A
Well,
Pressing
it's
in
like-
the right spots.
Like
Yeah,
pressure
no.
points.
But what I mean, but I've never referred to anyone doing a hand job as thrusting. I don't know if that's just a translation error.
No, I think it's meant to be more to emphasize the intensity he looks at this with. But another I've been wanting to make this comment for a while. I think when we look at this, it really looks like Methonium might have some kind of like. I've used the term classical training a little too much, but I feel like she's actually attended
like a trained artist.
Yeah, which makes her a very prominent example of the thing you always say. If you're trained for something, why do you use it for drawing nuts on squirrels?
No, if you've ever read Stephen King's on writing, I think there's a good argument that you write and you make what you want to make, and you can't force it to be about something else.
Wait. So I understand what you're saying, but how does that translate? You can't force it to be about something else.
Yeah, like she can't write like fucking Grave of the Fireflies or Your Name in April, Your Lie in April or something like that. This is what Methonium likes making.
Okay, I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, more power to her.
Also, that idea of like the penis having pleasure points, I don't think that's a way guys really think of their penis.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the whole thing's a pleasure point.
Yeah.
How do you just like? Is there a G spot on the penis I'm not aware about?
Yeah, but like on a vagina, there's the G
No,
spot.
that's in your butt.
Well, it's
I know,
like,
it's
it's like
like
the
that.
Hellraiser cube. You bop it twice, you twist it once.
I already told you. Bop it, twist.
Josh, does that work?
No.
No.
You should never take sex advice from two places, Tumblr and Cosmo. Because that whole bop a penis, treat it like a bop it, comes from Tumblr.
Oh my god.
Twist it.
Daystra!
Twist it.
Daystra!
We were talking about you earlier. Glad you
And
could
you
make
are
it.
you are awesome, sir.
So
Thank
it's
you
like-
for all of the Photoshop.
He doesn't know about the secret dick cuddle.
This joke.
Yeah, well, okay. You bop it twice, you twist it once, and then it's up, down, left, right.
Melinda, is that how you do it?
Yeah, it works.
She got 39 extra lives last time. Most of them were splattered across the mattress, but
Are you sure it wasn't a couple million?
39 million.
I smoked a lot of weed in high school.
And then this one he's just like, aha! I found an opening and just keeps giving it to
Yeah,
her.
in
The
these couple
vein, right?
panels.
Is what about the vein?
He's like, aha! Foreplay! Aha! No! Shoving the penis in there.
Daystra wants to know if you guys have ever played Cock Hero.
I can't say that I have. I think that's a thing where somebody basically use like a fleshlight to play Guitar Hero.
Well, I thought it was because sometimes on like weird porn sites, they have videos that are like labeled Cock Hero, and you're supposed to like stroke at points in the. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
And no, I have not played Cock
You
Hero.
forgot Baba, left ball, right ball, left ball.
Oh yeah, BA, left ball, right. Yeah.
It's a jerk off instruction game. Nope.
Go on Pornhub and look it up.
So what the fuck is the start button?
I mean, you start as soon as you open the video.
Oh yeah, Daryl
No,
clarified.
I
it's,
mean BA
No.
start Is it like the asshole or?
Nah, that's manual over.
No.
Ah,
Everybody.
that's the reset button.
Everybody's talking about Cock Hero though in the chat.
Is it
Yeah, Daryl pointed out
masturbation
it's a joy
challenge?
game or jerk off instruction. Dacer said it's lulz, and then Coolem said Cock Hero's a masturbation challenge. Yeah, in the story, going with the whole shonen battle thing, there's kind of like a lot of the way the panels go from one to another, and the motion and the lines, the way they work, it kind of looks like a
Yeah, like
a battle.
Like there's
the-
the
the
elixir of
sharp,
action.
yeah,
Yeah.
sharp intensity. Yeah.
She has a nipple blur. That is impressive.
Yeah, we've been talking about Methonium's a pretty good artist.
She does good.
Starred as the friends we made along the way is what the master and the commander said.
And then filling up her, and then he's just like, oh,
No, yeah, he thinks he won, but then I think
But
it's
then
like the third or fourth round,
yeah,
and then
I like how he's just like, I won, and it's like that wasn't that last round, and like tears welling up in his eyes.
in the story, loving you right now, Josh, the one person trying to keep this on track. Oh, yep, that's my job. That's why I'm the club president, Coolant. Oh, and to answer your question, Daystra, we're doing artist. So the artist that we're talking about today is Methonium. So for the episodes 13 through 26, we're going to be talking about artists rather than particular tags. But we will mention what tags the authors like to talk about. So when we get to Charisma Jati, what tags are we
Did
talking
you actually
about
pick
here?
Charisma Jati?
Possibly.
Okay, I mean that one's usually. Most of them are some kind of gore.
Or Snuff.
Or yeah, gore and snuff are his big ones.
Which is the one that did My Chan's Daily Life?
I don't remember. But that one.
That was one of the few times I've ever seen you disturbed in regards to porn.
It is such a disregard for humans that I have seen IRL, so it's pretty gross.
Or 2 hours.
Normal stuff.
I like that fear in his eyes in the last panel
Just
too.
like, oh no.
He's like, it's gonna keep going. I mean, he's getting there by the end. He's still determined to be the champion. So yeah, we're finally to the last story in this collection. It's called Your Crimson Star. This is the one I was joking that you might like because it's
Most
it's
people
very
call that a brown
romantic.
eye.
What did you think of the story on A? Could you summarize it?
It wasn't my favorite.
Oh, you didn't like it?
It's not that I didn't like it. Okay, anyway. So
Okay,
the,
so
the
wait, which
plot
one
of the
was your
story-
favorite?
I don't know.
Cafe latte, best of both worlds.
I have to think about that. I'll answer that question in a bit. Okay, so what happens in the story is this guy has like a pretty boring job that he doesn't like, doesn't really know why he's there.
He's a celery man.
Yes, and he gets out of work one night, finds this little cart with, the food carts kind of thing.
And Odin.
Okay.
O-D-E-N.
And
Odin!
he gets there and she's closing down, but she's like, "It's okay, I'll still give you some food." And he eats, and they're kind of talking to each other, because it's just the two of them. And he's like, "Oh, I'll help you get the cart home." So he helps her by pulling the cart like a mule.
Well, he couldn't initially, right? Because he's like,
Yeah, he couldn't. He was like, "Oh God, this is so heavy." They get to her house. She invites him in. She invites him in for drinks. Then they have sex. He wakes up there, and
The first thing he notices is her boobs,
yes,
which is where the story starts. Is him
which is
waking
weird
up.
because I'm pretty sure she had a blanket on later on, but
and then it's the morning, and he's like, "You know what? This is what my life has been all about. To now be with you and be part of this Odin thing." And it was just too cheesy for me. It was just too like.
I think that because this one's very romantic, but then
Yeah.
it's still the length of an erotic short manga.
so they had to
chapter.
like.
Yeah, the romance that would take like a full volume to encompass gets compressed into 20 pages.
Just like there were little things, like the part where they're about to have sex, and she goes, "Oh, I'm just not very." She implies it's her first time, and then says, "But it's okay if it's with you." You don't fucking know him. What do you mean it's okay if it's with you? Like,
They had deep conversations we didn't get to see.
Anaí, you're forgetting something important. He's the protag.
I get it. But then he does the same thing where it's like, my whole life I've been trying to find meaning, and you're that meaning. You don't know her.
Hey, maybe in this world, right? Like the love is such a pure and true thing that's like he found the one. He's like, you know what? This is it. This is her. He's so sure.
It was just too cheesy for me.
It's kind of funny because I'd actually like to bring in like a nonfiction book I read recently. So I was recently reading a book about how writers in the 30s developed like our modern conception of fantasy fiction, particularly Stiegel and the other guy who wrote Superman, Robert E. Howard and J.R.R. Tolkien. And in that one, the author argues that people mistake fantasy stories in that they expect fantasy stories and the themes and morals that develop in them to adhere to real world fiction, and that a fantasy world exists in a constructed world where the way things work are based off of the way the author wants them to work. And so, like in something like Lord of the Rings, you kind of expect like guerrilla warfare and stuff like that, and you don't think things would end the way they do in Lord of the Rings, where good triumphs over evil. Because in our world, a lot of times it feels like it's the other way, whereas in Robert E. Howard's story, violence solves everything, and barbarianism will always triumph over civilization, which is something you don't see reflected in our world. But in those world, those ideals or those themes hold true because they're in a fantasy world where that is true, and that is the way of things. So in a way, if you kind of see hentai as a genre, as a constructed world or a fantasy, even though romance doesn't work that way in real life, in a fantasy world that is hentai, where we see a lot of tropes and things come up over and over again, maybe in a way in that world it is true. Which kind of goes off of what you said about in this world romance develops faster than it does in the real world.
That's really fascinating.
Daystra, I think we actually did, or I think one of us recommended that to
Oh yeah,
Josh.
Mizuryu-kei. Remember that?
Oh yeah, Mizuryu-kei Land? Yeah, I actually... Mizuryu-kei is on the list. I have like 20 people.
Wait,
No,
is
no,
that- is that the
dude.
one- Is that the one I showed you?
Yeah, the one with the fucking amusement park. But
Yeah, okay, yeah.
no, Mizuki Kanojo.
Oh,
It's fucking ridiculous.
Mizuki Kanojo is so funny.
It starts out, and it's this basic fucking, this guy has a swimsuit fetish and they fuck, whatever.
Well,
And in
they're in a
episode 2, there's a
relationship.
plot about ninjas and time traveling, and it's fucking fantastic.
I think I know what you're talking about.
No, it was like this couple, and then like he gets her so much in the swimsuit fetish, like she starts becoming like a nympho with him, and then he's just like, your ancestors must have been a nympho, and it goes back
To
like
her
way,
ninja
like,
ancestors?
Yeah, ninja ancestors.
I've heard
So
of that
good.
one.
Yeah, but then the ninja ancestor ends up in the modern day, and then there's this band of fuck ninjas that's sent to fuck her to bring her home. And
Well,
then,
they were meant to like kill her technically, but then they were just like, "No, we're gonna torment you." And then
It's
they
the
end up
little
fucking her.
But yeah, Severian Wintermute said, "Good point. Fiction isn't necessarily trying to emulate reality. Often the opposite." So yeah,
dude, Josh fucking blows my mind on a daily basis with this shit.
like
That's why you should also read nonfiction.
What book was that actually? I would like to check
I can
out.
lend it to you if you want. I can't remember the title right now.
I feel like my free time is about to significantly dry up, but I will do my best because I do want to check that out. I also need to borrow your copy of Paradise Lost.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, that is something that I try to keep in mind, that, we're not trying, but I just feel like with this kind of thing,
With all of your
It's-
stories being kind of down to earth, that last one is just like,
yeah, it was a little,
You felt like it was rushed.
Again, it's just preference-wise, though. To me,
because you don't
It was-
believe in true love.
I don't. Just kidding. I'm kidding. To me, it was just too quick. Everything was too quick. That's just not me.
When I do write something about hentai, Yusuf, you will be one of the first people to see it if you wish. He's saying, "Give me your written works, Josh."
Well,
I mean, isn't it widely available?
I mean,
Didn't
don't you?
Have you published the full manuscript for?
Oh no, I'm gonna put that up later.
Oh,
For the
you-
Monster Girl novel that I wrote. Yeah, I'll put that up later.
Yusuf
Yusuf
also
says
said,
the last story was actually my favorite one.
Yeah.
tell us why.
Because he believes in true love and romance.
Is this
Unlike somebody
was this
here.
your favorite?
Well, hey, can you blame her? The only romance she ever gets is.
Okay, wait, Xavier, which one was your favorite?
My favorite one.
Yeah, since you did skim all of them.
I did skim all of them. Was probably Night Champion. Yeah.
I think that one was my favorite too. Wait, that's the boxer one, right?
Yeah, Coolimp says, true love exists, however, it's just not always the bliss people think it is. It's hard work. I have to agree with that. And
I
Yusuf-
also agree
Are you
with
saying
that.
I'm hard work?
No, I'm saying...
Oh, no.
And then Yusuf said, it reminded me greatly of my ERP days. You only have a few hours at most to build a rapport with a dude pretending to be a girl you're writing with.
We've all been to Goldshire.
Actually, in this one, I don't think there's as much as...
I've never done the Goldshire thing. That was the one. Goldshire on Moonguard is the one place every WoW player knew to stay away from.
And Daestra's favorite tag is vanilla, apparently.
I say that entirely unironically. I know it's hard to believe.
It's okay, Daestra.
Tom is also... his
yeah.
favorite tag is
He
vanilla.
said it's vanilla.
This one also doesn't have that theme we've been talking about that's developed in a lot of her work with the the
Accepting
body
yourself.
acceptance.
But this one is it's not body acceptance. It's more like finding what you want to do, which is still,
A sort of
But finding
acceptance.
something meaningful, and in this case, it's finding meaning in having
your
a
work.
relationship. Well, yeah, in your work. In this case, he finds in working with somebody he cares about, he can find meaning in his work.
Even if he's making significantly less money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
But then if you're working nonstop and you can't enjoy your money, then what's the point of having all of that money?
That's an excellent point. Well, see, what you do is you just save that money, and you just hoard it, and then when your kids inherit it, they also just hoard it. And then so you just don't give any money to the next generation. It's crippling the economy.
No, Coolimp also said that kind of bliss is fun, hard work. And Yusuf also said that he never played WoW. He played Ultimate Online because he's very old school, and at least
That is old school.
at least with Ultima Online, it was 80% chance it was a woman.
Oh, I actually never played Ultima. I've been curious. Legends of Aria. I very much want to check that out when that comes out. Apparently, that's supposed to be the spiritual successor.
Did she make him steam buns? Because I really want to try making steam buns.
I don't know about that. Odin is the one where like you boil food in a broth.
Oh, okay.
Wait. You mean your buns don't get steamy when Josh does it? I feel like that's going to run its course eventually, but I'm enjoying the shit out of it right now.
Also, how much older
You
is
die
he?
with it.
Wait, what now?
How much older is
Like,
he than her?
take that to the ground. You use it as much as you possibly
I
can.
mean,
Oh, as long as I have your permission, then I can say, Anna, you told me to.
it seems like he has to at least be a college graduate, so he's like in his mid-20s. And it seems like she went from high school to working at the Odin stand.
Daestra says something I just wondered, have you guys ever cross-examined hentai written / drawn by women? And
Yes, we have. If you were here earlier.
No, we did talk about that, how Methonium is a woman, and that we did talk about how it, as I've read from hentai artists, at the end of some hentai tankobun, or the collected editions of hentai, sometimes they'll have like brief little interviews with the mangaka. In one of them I saw, the mangaka said, like, some people don't know this, but the hentai artist community in Japan is pretty split 50-50 between men and women. So we were getting into this episode a little bit, how maybe some things might be different in this story due to the author having different experiences being a woman rather than a man.
I forgive you, Daestra.
Yeah. Oh, because Daestra said he just got back from work.
It's okay. Xavier's condescension is how you know he really likes you.
Also, Chaz, the master and the commander said it's a good bit, so.
Oh. Thank you.
But yeah,
It's not as good as Scottish Cat, but I can try.
I'm assuming he's not terribly old,
Yeah,
right?
it seems like she's like 1920. He's like 25, 26.
Yeah, it's just like, you must, your grandfather must be so proud to have somebody so strong and energetic and young. It's like, wait a minute, how old are you?
He's 25.
He's just he lost his will to live is what's happening.
Just the Japanese machine just sucked out his soul.
Coolum says, well, taking dick is different from giving dick.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
So
a lot
Xavier,
of permutations
when
within
you
that.
when you try your chance at Josh and Chaz, who's gonna do what?
Or do we all just take turns being the lucky Pierre? What we do, right, is like we organize this circle and just kind of
Hold on.
like hip
Is
thrust.
it the three of you doing this at the same time now? What is happening?
I mean, that is the
Ideally, right?
That's the most efficient way.
Dacer said it's okay. I've known Xavier has hated me for a while now.
I don't know, but hate is a really strong word. I hate a lot of things, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if I hate you. I don't know you enough to hate you. Unless you're Serbian.
Being a
Master and the Commander, being a salaryman is pretty much a hell world, so I'd probably rather sell bread or whatever than what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
It's called a daisy chain, and so...
Yeah, Daryl wants to know who the next artist is. It might not be a hentai mangaka. I think the person I want to do next might
Van Gogh.
be... no, it might be a hentai director by the name of... let me see what his name is real quick. I have it saved here.
Hentai drawn in Van Gogh style. Can you just like slap Fitz so he doesn't jump on that thing?
Fitz, no kidding. I won't slap your cat, but I will.
The person I want to look at next is Teruaki Murakami, and that is a hentai director who is sometimes referred to as the god of hentai. I don't know if that will be the next episode, but it might be.
So we're gonna have to actually like
watch hentai.
Yeah,
I'll give you guys the episodes ahead of time.
Aw, Rufo's looking at me all jealous.
See, because here's the thing, I
would do this to you, but you don't let me pick you up.
I can read the porn at work.
Oh, but you can't watch the porn
I can't.
at work.
It's harder to watch the porn at work.
Daryl wants to know what he worked on. Teruaki Murakami did Prison Battleship, Taimani Nasagi, what the hell is it? Emoto Paradise.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you know what he's done, you know what his work looks like, which is why I want to talk about him, because in the world of animated hentai, he actually has a particular style. But yeah, we can close off this work now that we're at the last chapter.
Wait, nobody else has anything?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Do you all have anything else to say about this particular chapter?
No. It was cute and fun, and I mean,
it was kawaii.
Can we go down to what was your favorite from what you read? What was your favorite?
I mean,
Yeah, Xavier and I said already. We had.
You said Night Champion. You said Night Champion. What was your favorite one?
Okay, so I read 5. My options are Cafe Latte 1 and 2, Ass Fixation 1 and 2, and Shota Not Shota.
No.
Probably the Cafe Latte, if only because, well, I don't know. Like, I guess we would have to ask from what perspective.
Just which one you enjoyed most.
I knew you were gonna pick the first one.
Why?
Because you like boobs and ass.
I really do.
Right, Melinda?
What was your favorite
Mine
one?
was the Nice to Meet You. That one was cute to me.
No, I think Nice to Meet You was my favorite one too.
Yeah, I like that one.
Daystria says there's places in Japan where like 10 part-timers live in a single duplex. They do this to have time to develop their individual interest, and if you can forgive the dated phrase, stick it to the man.
Oh yeah, I've even heard of people like they'll get rooms in like internet cafes and stuff.
Oh yeah,
well,
that's a crazy thing that happens.
That's mostly of a poverty thing.
I went to the
it's so much cheaper to do that to actually own a place.
That's so strange because you would imagine that internet cafes and stuff would just charge you up the ass.
Well, they pay by the hour, so they go to work. And then they come back and they pay for the time they're going to be there.
Oh. So they probably don't have like a lot of possessions that they leave.
Oh, yeah, they like live out of a backpack, which some people do on purpose. Since you went to the bathroom, I said Teruaki Murakami worked on Taimani Nasagi. I think he actually also worked on Night Shift Nurses, Emoto Paradise, and Prison Battleship.
I saw Night Shift Nurses and Emoto Paradise.
So do you kind of get what I mean by he has a particular style?
Yes.
It's very fast-cut animation.
Yeah.
Very intense and
No,
But I gotta tell you, fast-cut animation is not what I thought you were gonna follow up that gesture.
No. Yeah, because that's the only way I can describe it. It's just like it's constantly like bam, 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 bam.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but
yeah, in more ways than what you're thinking. Like the animation itself is very like fast-cutting paces, and it's crazy. And do you guys want to say anything about the afterword?
Methonium's just like, thank you so much.
I'm assuming she has nipple pasties on, and I thought that was real cute.
Okay, so the first thing is nipple pasties, right? But then I see that one, the other two, I'm just like, are those still nipple pasties?
I think they are. They're just from the bottom.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that Methonium also draws herself as a thick woman?
And naked.
Naked.
Well, again, we have to ask: is Methonium like an avatar, a character, or does she actually see that
just
as a reflection?
Assuming as this is like a true to life kind of situation.
Beautiful girl mangaka Methonium.
Yeah, assuming this is like drawing herself as what she believes she looks like. I think it's great that she's drawing from experience, because that's what it seems like, right? She looks like a thick girl who's drawing other thick girls, and like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be preachy. It's just
I'm
kinda
very
like
curious to see what she looks like in real life.
Yeah.
And I
farewell,
feel
Cool Imp, and yes, I do believe, Daryl, that
Bye, Cool Imp.
Lilith Hentai, the Lilith visual
Later.
novel studio, he does a lot of adaptions of. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Chaz. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I don't even fucking remember what I was saying. I must have been talking out of my ass. Oh yeah, I'd be very interested in seeing what she looks like in real life to see if she does look like that, or is this kind of like
something
a...
tells me she doesn't.
I don't think so either. I think she's... I wouldn't be surprised if she does fit more of the Japanese cultural mold.
She
And
could
maybe she
be.
I mean,
wishes
she
looked like it.
she could be a bit thicker, but I don't think
She
her
could
breasts are
be
that
just
big.
like accepting of her own body and goes like, you know what? I'm just gonna draw the.
Why are you questioning
I-
her
I
breast
hope
size?
so.
I'm just
I
saying
hope
it's,
so.
it's
I
a bit
hope,
much.
Okay.
Body acceptance is cool.
Cool Imp asked before they go who would get laid first, Goten or Trunks. Trunks already has a girlfriend when he's like 13. It's the girl from the Red Ribbon Army.
That's right. That's right.
You know what? I absolutely agree. Trunks would probably get laid first. Vegeta would probably bitch at him if he didn't.
Don't lose to Goten.
Oh yeah, Daster said both of them at the same time because of Gotenks.
This guy thinking outside the box. That's how it works. So wait, if Gotenks gets laid, does that mean Trunks and Goten are technically still virgins?
Does that mean that was a threesome?
Whose penis was it?
Both.
Has both of their penises.
What if like? So is it like a half and half split down the middle? What if one penis is longer than the other, or does it like compensate?
I'm sure it takes the best of both.
Oh yeah, Cool Imp. The name of the character is Mai. That Trunks' girlfriend is which is weird because she's like 50.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's so much older, but it's okay.
Mai was
She
in
has a
like the
little
original
gilf.
Dragon Ball.
Did you say gilf?
Gilf.
Yeah, she's a gilf, but in the body of a 13-year-old.
She's a lolly gilf. It's like a lolly mom, except more.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that Methonium actually looks like that because it is a common thing for mangaka to have like an avatar of themselves.
Right.
Like some people just draw like a donut or like a cat or something.
I mean, some of them just look like donuts.
Yeah.
But that's also the best way to hide what you genuinely look like. You actually draw yourself, because nobody's gonna believe it.
It's like, who's that voluptuous woman? She can't be a mangaka.
It's funny, when I was researching female hentai mangaka, one female hentai mangaka had another hentai mangaka make a hentai about her, and that she endorsed it at Comic-Cat when they were selling it.
That's great. Like, this is about me getting rammed from behind. Please buy this.
I didn't write it, so it's not weird.
You know, what an interesting like psychological experiment. It's like, yes, friend in this business, draw me getting fucked. I want to see what you think would
I
happen.
think it was more like, hey, would you mind if I made a hentai with a I think it started off with like, I'm gonna make a hentai about a hentai mangaka. Would you mind if I used you as the model? And she's like, fuck, just use my name if you want.
You can use my name. Too.
What a hell of a thing to happen. And I have to imagine that's going to happen to one of us at some point. The Hentai Literature
Haven't
Club
you
gets
already
huge.
asked people to draw porn of us?
Yes, several times. It hasn't happened yet.
I
So
mean,
hopefully one day.
Daystro's already asking about it. Did he not last time?
Yes, he is.
It's kind of funny because usually I try to get us to synthesize like what relationships we see in the work, but we kind of already did that at the beginning. So did you all see anything else that might have developed as we kind of went through these works? Something you didn't think of at first?
Yeah, Methonium's cool. I like how she handles things. I'd really like to have an interview with her. I'd like to know how she handles things like the fetishistic things, but does so in a way that's more accessible to people than just being in the face.
Yeah, that's something we did talk about that wasn't brought up immediately at the beginning. Daster said, I can't draw, I'm mean.
The photo, we do appreciate the Photoshop though. That's funny. So it counts.
So what's gonna happen with the build your own?
Build your own hentai? I don't know if we can really do that with this
Well,
one.
what we could do is we could create a hentai that capitalizes on the same themes that the artist projects. So we have body acceptance, we have
Thick
weird
girls.
fetishes being approachable,
Yeah,
but
well,
no,
Thick girls.
thick girls.
Because I
Thick
forgot
girls.
the tag, so I'm just
Okay.
going with that. What was it?
so
BBW?
BBW.
yeah, rather than rolling the dice, let's just kind of do this by community because that's
Build
how
a
some,
hentai workshop.
yeah, that's how we always end the episodes, Daystra. No. Except usually we do it based off of tags after looking at several different artists, several different works by several different artists with the same tag.
Can we call it Build a Hentai Workshop though? Because I like it.
Yeah, it's basically what it is.
I feel like we can do better.
I mean, if we can at some point.
You know, it's like build a bear, but build.
Yes. I'm. How do we? I feel like we can work on a portmanteau or something. But anyway,
Okay.
Build a Hentai Workshop works for now.
Yeah, so let's kind of do this by committee. The way hentai does it, I mean not hentai. The way CavCon does its best work.
It should probably have a beach and swimsuits.
Well, you want to pick the setting
Some
then?
sort of
Obviously,
okay.
because even if we don't do it the first time, we'll write another chapter
Yeah.
with it.
Get it in there.
What kind of setting do you want this to be? So far, we've had outside of an Odin stand. We've had the beach. We've had the bedroom comes up quite often. Very vanilla.
I'm gonna say it's a little like shack kind of deal on a beach.
So a beach getaway resort.
Yeah.
So it's both the bedroom and the beach.
Xavier,
Yeah.
who's our male protagonist?
Who is our male protagonist?
They can be a totally normal dude. They just have to be sensitive and understanding.
No. We have to up this,
Okay.
right? Because they got progressively more athletic.
Yeah, they can be what they can have
They
and
can
look
be
however you
whoever
want. They
you
just
want
have
to
to be
be.
sympathetic and understanding
The
to the
Rock,
women.
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson from Baywatch. He's a lifeguard.
Yes. God, I'm so into this. Please, never mind.
Is that what you're actually going
Yes, Dwayne Johnson
Are you
from
really?
Baywatch. Yes.
Oh
with? Dolph Lundgren and Rocky 4.
I
All right, which one? Do you two
must
want?
break you.
Who here wants to come up with their female protagonists?
Okay.
Right now we have a okay. We have a beach resort, and we basically have Dwayne the Rock Johnson in Baywatch. I mean,
Hey, he was pretty athletic in Scott Pilgrim.
Somewhat.
all right, Melinda, give us that female protagonist who has body issues.
You know what? I'm trying to decide if I want like.
It doesn't have to be body issues.
Yeah.
It could be something else.
I know, but I figured that would just might have been the better one to go to because that's what we're focusing on, I guess.
It is the most common.
I'm trying to decide if I want like the tall girl with like not a lot of assets, or if I want the short girl with like an oversized ass.
Most of these girls
Pretty tall.
pretty tall. Yeah.
They have assets. Methonium is the bank.
Okay, well I'll go with the short girl with like big thighs and an ass, big thighs and big ass.
Okay. Chaz, start bringing this together.
So bring us together. So we have the short girl with big thighs and big ass, and we have
Dwayne
Dwayne
The
the
Rock
Rock Johnson, the lifeguard. So
Is Dwayne the Rock Johnson who has body issues because he's like, girls think I'm too terrifying.
Just like,
Girls think
I haven't had a
really
relationship because they
he's
all
got.
think I'm scared.
You know what it is? He's got the like anime style. The Rock has like the Takeo face from fucking.
The Gora Takeo with the
Yeah.
big lips.
Oh.
He just that super imposing Japanese meme. So what happens is, right, this short, thick woman, she's swimming at the beach one day, just trying to get away from her problems, get away from everything, and because of her assets, she ends up getting swept away by the current and carried out much farther to sea than she wanted to. And then The Rock Johnson launches out there like a torpedo, and then comes save her. And as she's saves her from drowning, gives her CPR, and then there's that shot where he's like over her and he's backlit by the sun, and from that angle his features don't look so scary, and she looks at him like the savior, and then they plow. Tell us how they plow, Josh.
Oh, they plow. Let's see.
They start with anal, obviously. That's
No, they start with analingus.
They start with love.
that conspires over 2 pages.
Dwayne Johnson has body issues because he tears his pec every time he moves since he's on the juice.
They saw his Tooth Fairy movie and nobody takes him seriously anymore.
Or
Those
those
are
are actual plots. Guys that are too scary can't get a girl.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, because you're afraid
There's
that penis is gonna tear you apart.
Well, there was also that recent series that was pretty popular like 2 years ago where it's about like that cute shy girl and the really burly guy. I think might have been the one you
My
mentioned.
Love Story.
Yeah, My Love Story.
Where he's like huge and tall, and she's like all cute and little and like.
yeah. My love story.
Big.
Hog and I, School Realm will all have protagonists that are
Scary.
yeah, scary, or I guess
Kawaii.
society sees them as people you should stay away from.
So Dwayne the Rock Johnson, after he helps this girl, she's like, "Oh my God, thanks for saving me, basically. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, well, you might want to go back to where you came from. I'm just kind of here to get away from things.
Wait, does she know who he is?
No. Well, it's not
I
actually.
assume
Dwayne
that-
The
yeah.
Rock
Oh my
Johnson.
God, you're Dwayne Johnson.
I assume it is as played by anime Dwayne The
okay,
Rock. I don't
okay.
think he's actually The Rock.
It's not actually-
Did he lose his fucking job and had to moonlight as an
An actual
security?
lifeguard.
Yeah. It was all downhill.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're probably terrified of me. That's why I'm staying out here in this shack. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's just kind of squeezing him. Squeezing the pecs, squeezing the biceps.
Squeezing.
And basically they have really athletic sex because she's small, but she's got the big butt and the thick thighs. And so obviously her big assets match up with anime Dwayne The Rock Johnson's assets. With him being a big guy.
She runs
he-
track.
Yeah, he does the whole thing where he manages to pick her up and have sex with her and stuff like that. And it's really athletic. And he's like, oh gosh, you probably think I'm gross with how muscular and strong I am. And she's like, no, I'm absolutely into this.
Yeah. I've
And
never
then-
had a guy showing up to pick me up.
I'm so well fit and toned, I'm hideous.
I'm a monster.
And yeah, they end up dating each other after that. And they move out to that shack and they build an actual nice little place to live at.
Does he get fired from his actual job because he's having sex?
Well, yeah, but they probably end up having some nice job together, like rehousing damaged seals or something like that.
Seals that survived Canada.
Taking care of the like, turtles. Turtles hatching or something.
Does he hit her with the people's elbow?
No,
at
no,
any
no.
point?
It's
When does Stone Cold run it? That's
But-
the sequel.
but-
That's
but
when he's
T-
away on the business trip.
Batista comes in with the RKO out of nowhere.
But yeah, that's our Methonium style story. It needs a title.
Oh,
God.
Baywatch has been taken.
What about Thick Watch?
No, it's Baywatch, but with an E instead of a Y.
Like Beyblade?
No,
I
like
think he
babe.
means like
babe.
Bay.
Like
Oh, okay.
babe.
Not
Oh my God.
Congratulations, you out-nerded us for a second. That's not an easy task.
Oh, McMahon starts
And-
yelling in the mic. It's on a side commentation. Yeah, there we go.
I like
Baywatch, B-A-U. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Baywatch. Yeah, well, thank everybody here.
Dude, every one of you guys are awesome. Especially you guys here from the beginning. I know how hard it is to make it out and wrap your schedule around a live stream, especially the ones that are sporadic and not really well publicized beforehand like ours. We fucking love you guys. You are awesome, and we're gonna make this shit better eventually.
Yeah. And obviously, if you haven't, go ahead and join the Discord. We have it up there if you still want to continue talking about hentai with us.
Hey, free porn. Okay, what? Name one other community that gives you free porn. PewDiePie doesn't give you free porn.
And
Xavier gives you free porn.
and our community is not awful like some of this.
Oh, yeah, we have a pretty nice community.
We have way better than we deserve.
Paul Walker's spirit appears in the distance and gives a thumbs up as he transcends into heaven. Well, thank you, Yusuf. Bless our hearts. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do for the next episode. Like I said, it might be...
Probably look at porn.
Yeah, well, obviously look at porn, but it might be Teruaki Murakami, or it might be another actual hentai mangaka. But other than that, thanks for...
This was interesting. I look forward to having my brain completely mutilated by whatever you pick for us next.
Yeah, so
Charisma Jotty.
eventually. No,
There's gonna come a point where we just get desensitized. Like how fucked up can this possibly get?
I'm already there.
And then once
You're already there.
once we reach that point, where do we go?
Oh, well,
There's gonna become a time where we're just plateaued.
Daystra says audience interaction with Build a Hentai Workshop.
Oh yeah, hey, you guys can chime in at any point when we're doing that. Obviously, we were
did.
trying to read when you guys were.
It was just a little hard because it is a little. It's lagging actually.
It's
quite a
delayed,
bit.
yeah.
Well, it's about a minute or two behind. Now, Twitch has a setting where you can kind of turn that off. It compromises the video quality a little bit. I don't know if YouTube has that thing. That could be cool. You know what we should do?
As he's saving her, a fishing boat comes by full of octopi.
No,
Adding
check it out.
another tag.
I like your thinking, sir.
For real, what we can do if you want people to like get in on this shit like in real time.
Discord.
Yeah, exactly. We get in a Discord room. I don't know if there's like a limit. That might be maybe just like the first 10 people.
I'm not sure if there's a limit. I don't think there is.
We could just be like, hey guys, it's coming up.
But yeah, if you want to, if I I think that could be cool. We'll open up the Discord, and I mean, I'm not in charge of this shit. He's in charge of this shit, but that's my suggestion.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Wait.
Fapon.
Oh god damn it! That.
Yeah, don't forget the
But
Fapon.
before I do that, I'll wait. Okay, I will do the Fapon from now on. But you have to meet me halfway, and you have to come on to the audience.
Come on.
Okay.
Fapon, Chess.
So hang on. Please like and subscribe. If you're listening to us on SoundCloud, please follow. We have social media down there. I've got a Twitter. Anaï's got a Twitter. Josh has
Everyone
Twitter.
has got a Twitter. It's all
It's all down there.
Daestra says name of hentai too fast, too premature.
All you people are awesome. Fap on. We're out of here. Ready?
Yes.
Go.
Oh yeah, if you are on our
We already ended the stream. Go ahead.
No, well, we're still going. It's okay.
We go until I hit the stop button.
Too fast, too
Too
thick.
thick.
I like that one.
Oh yeah, but if you are in our Discord, if you join the Discord, if you go to the Hentai Literature Club channel on the Caffeinated Conquest Discord, I do post ahead of time what we're going to look at. I'll try to at least post it a week ahead of time. And if not, I will also repost it the morning of the stream's going to happen. Other than that, yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Is this the end stream right over here?
Yes.
Awesome.